see if we are live. 1 second. Is there audio? I think there is. Yes. Okay. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, which means it's Fallout Day. Sorry, I'm just seeing a little thing here. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so yeah, Fallout Day. We're going to play some Fallout games for the next 3 hours, and every hour I'm going to be giving away a canister of G Fuel's Nuka-Cola flavor, which they are offering up this stream, which is nice. There is an application that is still open effectively if you want to get in on this. I'm going to basically close it after we do the first drawing, but currently there are only 5 people and I'm giving away 3 tubs, so the odds of getting one are currently pretty good. So if you go to my Discord, you can go ahead and sign up there within the G Fuel giveaway channel there. All you have to do is go in there and comment, and you will be entered. And once every hour, I'm going to go in and award people, basically with a random number generator, pick a random number from 1 to currently 5. And once I have that number, that person will be the one who wins. You do have to be a U.S. resident, but other than that, it's all open. So, but anyway, so let's see. What should we talk about first? Now that we're here. Okay, well, first of all, obviously the big news is with it being Fallout Day, the Fallout Day stream came out earlier today from Bethesda. There was some community stuff. So I will give you my basic review of the overall stream there, and then we'll talk about some other things. So the community stream was good. I watched the first 20 minutes beforehand. Unfortunately, I had to go back to work afterward. I know that there's a big community showcase and stuff like that, and there's an amazing community with the Fallout community. There's especially with Fallout 76. But I unfortunately had to go back to work. I couldn't keep watching it. But that stream was good. The 20 minutes that they had beforehand, it was all a bunch of people coming together to create Fallout-themed content and stuff like that, songs and stuff like that. Very good stuff. The Fallout Day stream from Bethesda themselves was disappointing, is the way I'll put it, to put it nicely. Okay, so here's the biggest thing. Like, obviously, everybody, I don't know about everybody, but speaking generally, I think everybody was hoping for at least some news about the speculated Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas remake, and there was no information about that. And again, there was no indication that there was going to be information about that, but again, with it being Fallout Day and with the wild success of the Oblivion remake, like, personally speaking, I had that like 1% hope that it was going to be a shadow drop of the remake, and we would be spending this stream playing that remake. But I figured that was very unlikely to happen. But what I was at least expecting was maybe like, I don't know, even like a 30-second cinematic or something like that. Or it's not even a cinematic, but 30 seconds of gameplay within the engine using Unreal for the graphics. I think that would have been great. Again, there was in no way something where they were saying that this was coming, but what they did have in lieu of that, again, I shouldn't have expected it because, again, they weren't saying they were going to do anything with that, but what we got in lieu of that was, at least in my mind, fairly disappointing. Now, to keep things clear here, as someone who produces lore videos, yeah, again, I'm trying to be nice about this, but as someone who produces lore videos, the only form of content that I want to get from Bethesda is canonical lore. If it's not something that I can like study and write up the full story of and stuff like that, then I'm just generally not all that interested. And so the big thing that they announced with Fallout 4 was they're going to do the 10-year anniversary edition. Because, again, it came out back in, I think, November of 2015. In fact, I know that with the frame around there, my image of me is a little bit smaller, so especially if you're on your phone, you probably won't see it. In the background, I've actually got my collector's editions of Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 back there. My wife wanted me to make sure everybody knew that she was there with me waiting in line at Best Buy early in the morning back in 2015, just as my fiance back then. Well, actually, no, she was just my girlfriend
We
at the
could
time.
expand our
Anyway,
area all the way out
to
here.
get that collector's
The raiders
edition.
don't have a chance.
So she wanted to make sure I said that. But anyway, so yeah, what they're releasing is the 10-year anniversary edition. And what it is the base game with all of the expansion content and then 150 pieces of Creation Club content. Now, again, as I said just a minute ago, I'm only interested in canonical lore. I don't want to play content that is not actually canonical material to the universe. Now, there's a little bit of that in Fallout 76 where it's obvious that the stuff's not canonical material. Effectively, anything you get from the Atomic Shop is not going to be canonical material. I sincerely doubt that the shelters system is in any way canonical. But generally speaking, the stories that we get are canonical material within the Fallout universe. Now, Creation Club content is what Emil has referred to as parallel to canon, which is just kind of a nice way of saying fan fiction, or quality of fan fiction, I guess would be the way to put it, which is effectively to say that it's something that could exist within the Fallout universe, but does not. It's something that would not be out of place within the Fallout universe, but no, it's not actually part of the Fallout universe, which means that this is 150. Again, maybe some of them will be canonical, as my understanding is with the Fallout TV show, Captain Cosmos, the actor who played Captain Cosmos, was originally named in a piece of Creation Club content, and then that ended up becoming a canonical piece of lore with the Fallout TV show. But other than that, almost everything that comes out of the Creation Club is non-canonical material. And so, if it's anything like the next gen update, which we got last year, I think. What that came with was a handful of, I can't remember the exact number, half a dozen, I don't remember. Anyway, pieces of Creation Club content that came with it that you cannot choose whether or not they are in the game. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, either Bethesda putting these in the game is saying that they're canonical, or they're just wanting to make it look like they're doing some work without actually having to do any work. And they're putting this stuff into the game with it being parallel to canon, again, as Emil would say. And I was talking to another Fallout YouTuber this afternoon about this stuff. I'm not going to name him just because I don't want to basically... we didn't talking about that conversation. But regardless, what the whole point of... Well, basically what we came to there was like the stuff that came with the next-gen update is very unpolished. So it's one of those things where it's like, if it's canonical, it's incredibly unpolished content. So anyway, though, again, if you're just joining, I'm going to be giving away 3 tubs of the G Fuel Nuka-Cola flavor. I am a G Fuel affiliate. Is that the right term for it? Whatever it is, I have a code. It's iCartographer. And if you use that at checkout, you get a discount, and the channel gets a little bit of money on the end there. So that's a nice way to support the channel and get something that tastes good. So we'll actually mix up some of this stuff right now. Takes, what is this? 16.9 fluid ounces, 1.05 pints, 500 milliliters of water, whichever one you choose. And a scoop like this. There's 40 of them that come in each one of these tubs. And, ooh, sorry. Dropped an empty plastic bottle on my dog's head. He was sleeping beneath the desk. Now he is looking around, confused as to what just fell on him. Luckily, it's one of those Costco bottles that's incredibly thin. But anyway, so yeah, that was the stuff we got from Bethesda on Fallout 4 as the anniversary edition, 10th anniversary edition. They also said that they're going to be producing... What was it? Oh, no, that was Fallout 76 content, sorry. I think my guess would be that this version of Fallout 4 is going to be, the anniversary edition is going to have the native version for the PS5 and for the Xbox Series X and S. I don't know if there wasn't already one of those, but they specifically mentioned with Fallout 76 that they're going to be producing versions of the game specific to those consoles. So, regardless, whether or not this is the first one for the X and S and 5, I believe that it probably will be updated for those as well. But what they're also providing seasons for Fallout Shelter. I played Fallout Shelter for a little while. I think I've got it on my phone. Let me see here real quick. I haven't played it a lot lately. It's one of those things where it's like I will kind of like go in and out of cycles of playing games on my phone, and I have not been in one lately. In fact, the last one that I was in is kind of embarrassingly, I was playing Simpsons Tapped Out, and that game is now completely gone. So just to show you how long it's been since I've been in a mobile gaming cycle. I'm pulling up my vault right now. Here we are in Watoga. Let's see here. It's too bad I can't like share this to the screen. Yeah, there's my there's my vault. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, especially with it being kind of small because of the frame. But yeah, that's, I don't know. Oh, and now there's the Fallout Day sale pop-up that's all over the screen. Yeah. I don't know. It's, more stuff. More free stuff. Okay, well, there you go. Free stuff in Fallout Shelter today as well. Okay, so the other stuff they talked about. Oh, they had probably the most gut-wrenchy part of the entire stream was when suddenly they brought up Fallout New Vegas because it's now the 15th anniversary. 15th? Yes, 15th anniversary. In fact, the actual anniversary, like day-wise, was I think last week, the week before, something like that. I can't remember exactly. Regardless, there was basically this thing where they brought on a bunch of the original Fallout New Vegas devs, 3 or 4 of them at least. And they're like, oh my gosh, 15th anniversary. And the entire thing was just to sell this like Supreme Ultimate Edition that comes with like a little toy Securitron robot. It's like, guys, you know we're looking forward to when you put out a remaster of 3 or New Vegas. And with the Fallout TV show heading to New Vegas, it would have been like the perfect time to shadow drop a New Vegas remake. And instead you bring on these guys to talk about it, to be like, to reminisce for 10 seconds a pop just to sell this Ultimate Edition. Oh, man. That is good. I'll say that. It's definitely one of those things where I wouldn't want to sell anything that I don't actually approve of in terms of flavor, and I do like this. Looks like Nuka-Cola Quantum. So, again, with the giveaway, the ability to register for the giveaway, you have to be a U.S. resident. And in order to actually apply, all you have to do is go to my Discord, go to the G Fuel giveaway channel, and comment there once. And I will add you to the list. But again, it'll be up until the first giveaway, which I'm going to make at 5 p.m. here, which is in 46 minutes. So, anyway, though, let's see, what else did they talk about? They had some really corny stuff that they did with, like, real-world stuff in the background. And then I guess the majority of the whole thing was centered on Fallout 76 with the Burning Springs update. Some very interesting stuff there. They had some clips of Walton Goggins. I believe I'd seen this stuff from Walton Goggins already. Basically just him talking about his role as the ghoul. And they talked a bit about the bounty hunter system. I don't remember if they'd already mentioned that all this stuff took place in Ohio. Like, it obviously did, but I don't know if they actually out and out said it. They showed the environment a bit to be a kind of dusty, sandy environment. Talking about the Rust King a little bit. And that kind of stuff. Showed the Mothman Bridge, the Silver Bridge in real life. And so yeah, that was the majority of what they talked about there. Oh, I guess I can give you a couple of quick announcements about what's going on with the channel. So, the Gleaming Depths video, or the Project Vulcan video, whichever way you want to call it, that came out Monday. Did pretty well. Got a lot of new subscribers to the channel, which glad to have that. Love to see new people come by and see the stuff that I produce. Now, next, what I was originally planning on doing was producing a video covering the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. It'd be a part 2 video because I've already done a part 1. I recommend you go check that out if you haven't seen it. Interesting material there. The Blue Ridge Caravan Company, I talked about this a little bit in my video on... what was it? Canterbury Commons. The Blue Ridge Caravan Company was actually a pre-war trucking company that made the switch to using Brahmin after the war. So, pretty interesting there. But they've gotten a significant amount of new content over the past couple of years. Specifically, we've talked about this a little bit. Basically, at the time I produced the original video, they were basically ensconced within Big Bend Tunnel East and Big Bend Tunnel West, and that was pretty much the main scope of where they were. Since that time, they've also opened up a few places like Middle Mountain Pit Stop. I think there's another one here I'm not thinking of. They've also got Milepost Zero stuff down here. Basically a caravan that runs through this area. And then along with that, up here, they've got the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse. Now, when they added the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse, it was the same time they added all these other areas like Oregon Cave. Howdy 80H Queen, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good Fallout day. They added the Coop, Settlers Ridge, and that kind of stuff up here. And basically had the Gilman Lumber Mill repopulated by and Ford Station Tango, but the Gilman Lumber Mill repopulated by the responders from the White Spring. But basically there wasn't really anything to do here. In fact, why don't we just fast travel there real quick so you can see what we got going on there. But yeah, basically all that was involved with the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse, there's like a single note there, and then there's also a single daily, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, quest that comes from, it's a potential daily destination for the Gilman Lumber Mill when you're working with the responders. You can come up here and bring them some supplies. But yeah, I can't remember. There's the note right there. The strategy. Top secret for Blue Ridge eyes only. That means don't leave this one lying around for any old passerby to see. That's why you don't leave it right here next to the main route. Anyway. I think it's about time we get in with those responder folks at the White Spring or Refuge or whatever they're calling it these days. It's incredible to say, but somehow these people have managed to get tied in with all kinds of groups well outside of Appalachia. That's a lot of potential markets opening up that we aren't a part of, all because of that vertibird. We need to convince them that a partnership with us benefits us both. Sell them on our experience, our infrastructure. Remember, they're the little guy. We have a big head start in the trading business, and they aren't even interested in that yet. By getting in early, we could nip a competitor in the bud. If you can do anything to butter them up, it could be beneficial in the long run. So basically, yeah, their whole thing here is they want to team up with the responders and basically keep them from having a trading arm by themselves being the trading arm. I don't know exactly how much use. Like, okay, I would say the vertibird would not be useful in transporting goods unless we're talking like emergency type situations. Yeah, if you missed the little bit of the earlier part there, I basically was also in agreement with Dark Wolf, but a little bit more kind about it, I guess would be the way to put it. But regardless, the vertibird would be good for maybe delivering emergency supplies or personnel, but it would be more so useful to the Blue Ridge Caravan Company in establishing relationships. So it's one of those things where, like, instead of sending an expedition to, I don't know, where they would go, well, Burning Springs, I guess would be an example of the place, they could just send the vertibird, and instead of having to take a Brahmin caravan, they could just fly over and talk to them, which would definitely be quicker. And if things didn't work out, then they didn't have to waste time getting people back on foot. Again, if you're interested in winning a tub of Nuka-Cola, the G Fuel flavor, you can go to the Discord, go to the G Fuel giveaway channel, and just comment there once. And so long as you're a U.S. resident, you can be signed up for a free tub of this stuff. I'm going to be giving away 3 tubs today, once every hour for the next 3 hours on the hour. Hey, Haley, welcome to the stream. And yeah. So, I guess, effectively, I think what the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse turns into with this new content that's coming in Ohio, which is all this area over here, is that it's effectively going to be a point on the route into Ohio. Hey, Silux Captor, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good Fallout day. So yeah, I think that the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse was kind of pointless to an extent initially. It was something where I think the devs were trying to provide a whole bunch of new outposts for the different groups, because we've got Raiders, we got Settlers, we've got the Brotherhood of Steel, we've got the Responders having taken over Gilman Lumber Mill, and here we have the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse. And also, obviously, yeah, these are Mothman cultists. This is Raiders right up here. So yeah. The Blue Ridge Bunkhouse will now, I guess, be on the route into Ohio. Who is screaming? Oh, did I just let somebody die? Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I feel bad about that a little bit. Anyway. But yeah. So again, that was mostly what they talked about in the Fallout Day stream. We covered it already. The Fallout 4 anniversary bundle, the Fallout 3 Ultimate Edition or whatever it is, the Fallout Shelter seasons, and the Fallout 76 stuff covering Burning Springs. They also hinted at there being additional content coming this year, or next year, I should say, but they didn't say what it was. So we'll have to see what that ends up being. It was kind of funny. The other day when I did publish that... oh, sorry, let's see here. Moving for the next couple days, so I've only been able to catch this live stream from what I've heard. No, yeah. No, you didn't miss much. Again, the only real new stuff in terms of like actual content that is produced by Bethesda is the Fallout 76 Burning Springs update. And it was more kind of a recap. I think that maybe they talked a little bit about stuff they hadn't talked about before, but I think it was more so just kind of them having the largest official Bethesda thing for this time of year, it being Fallout Day. I think this was just their big time to announce it. But yeah, the rest of the stuff was... like, unless you're a big fan of Fallout Shelter, which they were a bit happy to tout their... I think it was 270 million downloads. Which, again, I'm one of those, but I don't play the game. So I think... I don't know what their average usual daily user base is on that, but anyway, they're adding seasons to that, which is, I mean, it sounds interesting enough if you're into the Fallout Shelter, but it's not really something that interests me that much these days. Although I did see in the stream that there looked like there was a vault with ultrasight. I don't know if there's supposed to be anything that we take from Fallout Shelter to be canonical. I sincerely doubt it. I mean, because you can have like Moira Brown show up and stuff like that, and all these other Preston Garvey, and like all these other characters. I think the Ghoul shows up. So yeah, like I don't know if there's anything at all we're supposed to take from Fallout Shelter that's supposed to be canonical, but I would not be surprised if the answer to that is no. Oh yeah, there's some sort of spooky Scorched event going on right now as well. Is he wearing... Oh. I think they were wearing a Creature from the Black Lagoon outfit here. Yeah, so again, it was that, the announcement of the Ultimate Edition of New Vegas. And the other thing about the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition is it comes with 120 pieces of Creation Club content, which I didn't even know that there were that many things on Creation Club. I have to think that a lot of those are like one-off skins for guns. Because, I mean, like, maybe I'm wrong, but my experience with Creation Club in the past has been that there's like 40 things on there maximum. And again, they're, trying to remember because there's two different things they have. There's like Creation Club and Creations, I think is the other one. Creation Club has been pretty empty. Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed the Project Vulcan video. Yeah. It's always good to hang out with y'all. Missed you guys last Friday. Let's see. I think that basically covers the Fallout Day stuff. In terms of what Bethesda put out this year. I gotta say, these past couple of years have been fairly disappointing, and I think that it's just, unfortunately, a consequence of where we are in the Fallout development cycle currently. Because, I mean, like last year, all they talked about, if I remember correctly, was the Ghoul update that was coming to Fallout 76 at the time. I mean, I think they talked about Project Vulcan a little bit, but it was mostly talking about the Ghoul stuff. Which, like, I will eventually need to make a video on the Ghoul content, but I gotta say that, and I was streaming when I was basically doing the Ghoul content, so it's one of those things where it's definitely the case that my recollection isn't 100% when I'm focusing on multiple things at once. But my recollection of the Ghoul content was that it was fairly loose in terms of, like, canonicity. Not specifically so much that. I mean, there is some of that where I feel like we need something definitive from Bethesda as to what exactly they're doing with all the stuff with, like, the Ghoul's yellow chemical that he consumes, that kind of stuff. We need to know more about what's going, like, if, like, what, how that is supposedly keeping people from going feral, where it originated from, when it originated, because, I mean, there's even stuff where it's like within Fallout 4, within Nuka World, there are stories. There's that story about the, I cannot remember their names off the top of my head. There's the two ghouls. Well, there's an entire community of ghouls within Kitty Kingdom, I believe is what it's called.
Take my place.
Where basically one of the ghouls went off to go search for a chemical to keep the people from turning feral, and she never found it. And it's like, well, from the Fallout TV show, it seems that the ghoul has been taking that chemical for decades. So, was it just something that was limited to California specifically? Rachel and Oswald, thank you. John Vazakis, if I'm not mispronouncing that too badly. Welcome to the stream, Mel. Welcome to the stream, John. Yeah. Yeah, and again, so it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like we really need some of this stuff locked down by Bethesda in terms of like how all the ghoul stuff is working in the lore. And like along with all this stuff, this looks a little bit different down here. Got a cultist here. Are they working on the bridge currently? Is that what's going on here? And okay, yeah, that's what's going on. They're working on the bridge. It'll be finished next time. Well, whenever they do the full update. Oh, well, thank you. Glad I did that. So yeah. But again, in terms of my recollection of the ghoul content, I was not at all happy about the introduction of Silo Delta, because it's like, we've been to the command center. We've been in there. There's only slots for Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. What's going on with Silo Delta up here? Only ghouls may enter this location. Well, ghoul serum is going to be a pain in their butt if they don't address it soon. Yes. No, it's a big violation of established lore. It's one of those things where it's like, it's like he threw that Molotov to keep me from fast traveling, because he's like, oh, he'll be taking health damage at that point. Can't get out of here then. But it's kind of like Billy the Kid in the Fridge, which I think, like, personally speaking, I don't think is supposed to be taken as fully canonical, because like he's inside that refrigerator for 200 years, something like that, 210 years, and does not go feral, does not go, okay, like, let's even just take away going feral or even starving to death. Let's assume that there's something going on with ghouls where they can literally just survive by breathing in radiation, right? At the end of the day, how would he not go insane from being locked in a fridge for 210 years without anybody to talk to, without the ability to move, all these other things? It just, it feels kind of insane.
All the time.
Protect and serve.
Wonder if
that's again why I think that we
too.
don't take things like Billy the Kid in the Fridge to be fully canonical material there. I think it's just supposed to be kind of like a little Wild Wasteland sort of a story. Can you not? I know that it said I couldn't go there because I wasn't a ghoul. I'm trying to remember if there's... I think there's an elevator ride down here. And even then, I doubt I'll be able to take it as a non-ghoul character, but... Thank you,
I
Mel.
would expect the radiation to be a ghoul's perfect fertilizer.
I think that's what the indication was, though. I think that's why he wouldn't... Like, he was on his way home... and effectively, like, he ended up going into the fridge to escape the bombs, but I can't remember if that's what happens there or not. I'm just going off full memory here. The last time I covered that story directly was when I was covering, what's it called? Quincy. And I have not covered Quincy in at least a few years now. Okay, so something, here is the elevator. The thing I was gonna, can I go in here? No, okay. The thing I was going to tell you, along with the fact that I am pushing off... Oh, did I say that I'm doing it? Okay, I'm pushing off the Blue Ridge Caravan Company video until after the Burning Springs update. Because there's going to be an update to the Blue Ridge Caravan Company, a pretty big one to my understanding. And so it doesn't make sense to me to cover them now and then just have a bunch of new content suddenly come out and then cover them then. So my understanding as to what's going to happen down here, and I've gotten this confirmed while on stream, is that the milepost 0 stuff is disappearing from Skyline Valley. That's moving up to Ohio. So with that being the case, I will make sure that I record everything that goes on with milepost 0 before that, just for posterity and something to have in the video so I can be like, this is how it used to work. But I'm not going to cover Blue Ridge Caravan until they've made these big updates. So, in the meantime, what I'm going to do with this remaining 8 days of October, including today, is, yeah. Yep. So what I'm going to be covering in the next 8 days or so is I'm going to try to put out 2 or maybe 3 remakes of my oldest videos. Specifically, there's ones covering Eastern Regional Penitentiary, the Dire Chemical Massacre, and Senator Sam Blackwell, which his body's there. So I've already finished the script for the Eastern Regional Penitentiary video. I'm working on the Dire Chemical video, and I gotta tell you, okay, so I watched the Dire Chemical video today for the first time since I released it in 2019. And the content's not bad, but the audio, my voiceover in that is so bad, it's ridiculous. I think I was still working with a headset mic at the time, so it sounds like that. And then along with that, I'm basically like trying to get through the script as quickly as I sorry for the cursing there, as I possibly can. And so in the process of that, like there was one point where I said sentient ghoul, and the auto caption read that what I was saying as Sinn Féin, the Irish political party. It got sentient as Sinn Féin, which like, and I can't blame it because it's almost unintelligible with how fast I was going. So yeah, again, even if I were just to re-record the scripts on those things, it would already make a better video than the one that I already had. But I'm going to be going in and making sure that they're entirely up to snuff there. I've just got this here, and I just opened this for the first time since I got it. And it actually is, yes, thank you. Now the G Fuel giveaway. Again, I'm going to close out the applications for that at 5 p.m., so in 27 minutes. But I got this back in 2015 when I got my copy of Fallout 4. First time I've actually taken that out of the bag. The bag's still here. I'm going to put it back in there. Yeah, this is... I don't remember if this was actually an official part of the collector's edition of Fallout 4, or if it was something that just maybe Best Buy was giving away or something. It does say Bethesda on it, so I don't know. But regardless, that's... And again, I know it's kind of small with the whole frame here, but in the background there I do have collector's editions of 3 and 4, and then along with that the strategy guides for 3, 4, New Vegas, and 76. So, okay, what else? So yeah, then after that, my oldest lore video that's still currently within the main Fallout 76 lore video playlist is the one that covers Senator Sam Blackwell. And it's actually fairly long. I think it's in the 20-minute range. And I say fairly long, even though 20 minutes isn't terribly long. But the amount of material that I'm presenting there is not that much. But what's actually happening is that I'm showing you literally where I found all the lore materials. One second. Sorry, there we go. Weird. Let me try one more thing here. Huh. Oh, there it is. Sorry. It's not 20 minutes. It's 50 minutes. It should be about 20 minutes. Because Senator Sam Blackwell was a great man. And one of the few politicians that was actually looking out for his constituents within the Fallout universe, or as Mel and I were talking about the other day, in the real world as well. But literally, I show you where I find all the lore materials. So like Charleston Herald building, going to the entrance to the White Spring. In fact, I'll show you that the White Spring bunker entrance where you find some of the lore materials there. But that's not how I do lore videos these days. I figure people are interested in the story. And so long as I basically show little bits of it while I'm talking about it, they get the idea that I'm not just making stuff up. But I don't think you all need to see exactly the locations where everything is when I'm actually presenting the lore. So let's go in here real quick. Welcome to the stream, Ponderman. Hope you're having a good Fallout day. Yeah, I gotta say, like, okay, I know that there are people out there that enjoy every piece of content, and I don't mean like they enjoy every piece of content, but they have their piece of content that they love, and even if nobody else loves it, it's their favorite thing in the game. And I'm sure that there are people like that for Milepost Zero, but I did it one time, and I never saw myself wanting to do it ever again. I'm gonna do it for the purposes of making the Blue Ridge Caravan Company video, but like, I did it, I expended like 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and I feel like I got like 50 caps worth of supplies out of it, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, Sam Blackwell interview. This is what I show in the video, but like, it's crazy how this is the kind of stuff that was actually like really interesting about early 76, was when everyone was still trying to piece together the lore materials. And so it's like, you have to go to the entrance to this bunker to find this one specific interview here. Well, I can probably put together additional videos where I actually point out specific locations, but I think when it comes to the main narrative lore videos, I think people prefer just to get the actual story. And again, so like with stuff like, what's it called? Flatwoods. I put together a separate video specifically just to talk about the reasoning process that I had to do to put that video together, because like the lore in Flatwoods is like not just the lore in Flatwoods, but all over the place, and like trying to piece together when maybe this police chief, who was probably gonna have a bigger story before it was cut, did some stuff and up in Morgantown, and how like because of that happened at that time, this had to happen before that, and because of that, before that. So yeah, no, and so yeah, I will say I never had good luck with Milepost Zero. Like that one time I did it, it was just like constantly getting pinned down, and again running through so much ammunition. That's been my problem with most of the like deep content, end game content, if that's the right term for it, for Fallout 76, is that the rewards so often don't feel like they are it doesn't feel like you're making a good bargain there in terms of the amount of ammunition that's being expended. That was my main thought the first time I did the Vault 94 raid back in the day. Of course, I was doing it completely improperly, trying to do it by myself. But at the same time, I remember reading other people talking about how much ammunition they were blowing through with that raid. I do wish that they would perhaps bring it back. Like, it's one of those things where they took it out, and I appreciate that they opened it up, made it easier to go into and explore, because it was far easier to produce a lore video on Vault 94 with it being opened up the way that it is. But I mean, with the Gleaming Depths, luckily thanks to the good folks in the Discord, specifically Prince Julius, Nikki the Cat, and one of Prince Julius's friends, Ex-Mutanty, we were able to go in there pretty quick. Get the information. Like, they basically walked me through the first 3 bosses. Really, the only problem there is the first boss, you have to shoot it in the back, and he constantly turns to face you. And then the second boss, you got to be filling up that drill with gas while killing the mole miners that are trying to destroy it, which is basically impossible. You definitely cannot do it as an individual. It's very difficult to do it even with 2 people. But once we got that kind of stuff done, I was then able to record a bunch of footage within there, and it really wasn't that big a deal. So, Pathfinder in every Fallout game is wacky. Oh, yeah. I think that's a general issue with Bethesda's engine, is that pathfinding can be kind of a pain. I don't know how many of y'all have this fresh in your memory, given that the game is now Good God, it's 14 years old this November. Skyrim. When you are within the shop in what the heck's it called? River Run? I can't. No, that's another fantasy name. Whatever it's called, the little town south of Whiterun, within Whiterun Hold. Basically the first town where you go in, and if you're and you go and kind of like hang out with the blacksmith. Anyway, when you're going from the inn and the shop there. It's not an inn, it's just a shop, I think. Yeah, it's just a shop. And you're trying to go get the Golden Claw from Bleak Falls Barrow. Camilla Valerius leads you out of the house, and like as you're walking alongside her, trying to just walk with her, she stops every 3 feet. And then like you walk ahead of her a little bit, and then she will try to follow you a little bit and then stop again. And it's like the pathfinding is absolutely maddening. And one of the craziest parts about that too is that is an early part of the game. It's one of those things where that should have probably been play tested a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen times before that thing got into the game. And yet it still is buggy to this day. Yeah, this stuff though, I definitely will not have a problem with scurvy. I was going through this the other day. I was looking at the different vitamins and stuff and it has in it. 278% of your daily value of vitamin C. So if you're getting ready to go on a sea voyage, G Fuel has got your back. No need to take the limes with you. You got all you need there. Let's see. What should we go take a look at? I could see about some events, perhaps. I guess I could keep hunting for those spooky Scorched. I didn't ever actually open that that bag I got from them. Got some Radaway. Oh, Rad Skull Rider helmet. Let's go see what that looks like. That's right, it just works. Nope, there we go. Oh yeah, Todd Howard popped into the Fallout Day stream and he was in there for like 30 seconds. It's just like, okay. I really hope that they are just working really, really hard on Elder Scrolls 6. And that's why we're getting so little information on things like Starfield and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna hope for the best on that situation. Oh yeah, I still haven't moved this generator back where it belongs. Regardless, let's see here. That's right, the Todd Howard. I think it was a helmet, right? Probably headwear. Something about a skull. Howdy moment, yeah. Oh, I think that's it right there. That looks like something out of the Burning Springs content from what I've seen. Yeah, I'll make that. Looks a bit, what's the way to put it? Like biker-ish? From like a Mad Max type of situation. Alright. And there's actual, oh, I don't know if, I think that one actually, it might be, yeah. No, that's an actual event, I think. Oh, it looks like it might be going on, though. We'll go to the Monster Mash.
Welcome, teachers and students, to Watoga High School's annual Monster Mash. Please gather in the commons and await your instructions. Teachers, race to find the monster mask. After you get it, run from the students. As you flee, candy will fall from holes in the mask. Be sure to collect as much as possible. The more candy you collect, the more supplies you will be awarded from next year's discretionary budget. There are also stashes of candy hidden around the school. Find them and refill the mask.
That is such an
Students, you must
insane
chase
way
and hit the monster mash with your baseball bats
to
like
hand
a
out
pinata.
school's budget.
You can keep any candy that falls out of the mask, or you can make the smart choice and turn it in for prizes. And remember, this is the only time it is permitted to hit a teacher while on school grounds, and only the one wearing the mask. On your marks. Get ready. Go.
It looks like the mask is actually ready to go now. The little icon initially lures you over to the machine where you can trade in your taken candy. So yeah, we are now wearing this. Yeah, I know. Well, the entire school is questionable. Like, when you consider that some of these students murdered a guy out in the cranberry bog. These guys are knocking all the candy out of the mask. Oh, man. I did see that there's a new poster for the Fallout TV show that's out now. It's got Ella Purnell as Lucy standing amidst a bunch of legionnaires of Caesar's Legion. So there were people that were like, oh no, those images of the Legion were in the past, and like that's never something that made any sense to me, because you could see an image with Lucy in it, with at least a couple legionaries, but in this image she's just completely surrounded. So I don't know if that's in any way indicative of what we're going to see in the show, but no, there's definitely quite a bit of Legion still around. And the fact that the Legion's still around, I mean, that would seem to me to indicate that the NCR lost. But, I mean, not necessarily. It could well be that the NCR won the battle, pushed the Legion back, but then the Legion's back again? I guess we could be looking at the third battle of Hoover Dam. Although it does seem like the NCR is not really much of a force these days, so... That would be actually really quite funny if it really was third battle of Hoover Dam. Oh, man. It just feels like that would be like, what's that, I think it's The Scorcher, the movie series within the Tropic Thunder world, where Ben Stiller as, what's his name? I can't remember what his the character's name is that he's playing, where he's in the movie series called The Scorcher, and there's all these sequels to it where it's like the entire world is melting down. It's like, and it's happening again. That's just kind of what I think of if they were to actually do a third battle of Hoover Dam. I mean, it's not unprecedented to have multiple battles take place in the same spot over the course of history. Even in the United States, we've had that happen. I mean, there were first and second battles of Bull Run, you know? But... I don't know. That one, it would be like, because it's one of those things where it's like the whole second battle of Hoover Dam is supposed to kind of be like the one that decides it for once and for all. Gotta find, oh, another candy bucket this way. Oop. There we go. I'm figuring we could play additional Fallout games today. Doesn't have to be just 76. It is Fallout Day after all. Now, I will say that I could boot up one or two, but like the stability of those games, at the very least on my computer, is so low. Like, there are times when I want to go in and capture some footage for a video, and Oh my gosh, this last time. Okay, I didn't even end up using the footage. I wanted to go get, and it wasn't, okay, it was my video on, what was it? I think it was Canterbury Commons again. Maybe. I needed to get footage of tribals. That's what it was. I can't remember if that was for Canterbury Commons or another one. I think it was another one. Yeah, I'd like to see more of that Enclave base. But I was trying to go in and get some footage of the tribals in Arroyo, and I had a character that was in
Please gather in the
Klamath.
commons and wait for the next
And so it
round
was
of
just
the
this, like,
Monster Mash
little-
to begin.
this short little
If
run
you have
to get
candy
from
the previous
Klamath
round, you can turn it
over to
in
Arroyo.
at the smart vending machine for prizes.
Like, the game
Make
crashed
the smart
like
choice. 12
12 times just
Reminder,
crossing that little
Teachers
distance.
grab the mask. You will collect candy falling out of the mask. And you should find buckets of candy hidden around the school to refill the mask.
Do I have 50?
Students,
Is that what that
hit
is?
the monster
Do I
mask
not
like a
have that?
pinata and collect candy that flies
Oh,
out. On your marks. Get ready.
Oh,
Go.
I'm good. I've had enough of this event. I don't know about you. Yeah, this event, I'm sure, would be actually quite a bit of fun with multiple people. Oh, yeah. I can show this off here. Got this last month after waiting for like 3 months or 6. I can't remember when they first announced it. It's the Starfield Visual Compendium. Not thrilled that I've got some stains on this thing already, but that's, I guess, what you get when you have a pure white book. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool. It's got a whole bunch of imagery of all the creatures and the clothing, the settings, basically concept art and things like that. It's pretty cool. One of the more interesting things I learned from that was that originally the Eye was supposed to be the home of the lodge. So it wasn't going to be a physical location within New Atlantis. It was actually going to be that the entirety of Constellation was within the Eye platform. I can't remember why. I think it says that for gameplay reasons they moved it down to New Atlantis. So, I mean, it is what it is. I do like the lodge building in New Atlantis as well. So, it's not the end of the world, but I do think it would have been pretty dang cool to have up in the Eye. So, anyway. Oh, man. Coming up here on AMS. Big part of the last video. I feel like I think I remember this from when I was making my first video covering AMS, but back when I was covering Watoga extensively. If you haven't seen it, I've got like a dozen videos. I can't remember the exact number. It could even be just like 6, but regardless, I was covering everything in Watoga, basically, at one point in time. And one of the things that I ended up covering was...
Automated mining services. Welcome
yeah, right there.
to the home of
Automated mining
visitors.
services.
Please see our receptionist.
The company is
Welcome to
Atomic
AMS, the
Mining
future of
Services,
mining.
but they have it say Automated Mining Services. I think that they changed the name of the company midstream, and I would not even be slightly surprised because of kind of the lore feels a little mixed up on the auto miners. I would not even be slightly surprised to find out that the auto miners were originally a product of Automated Mining Services. And so, just in case you're unaware, the in the end, the auto miners were a product of Hornwright Industrial. But if we go over to where it is, there it is. Where is it is what I meant to say, and there it is. Enclave content will always get your attention. Yep. No, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But if we come over here, we get another little bit of lore that maybe indicates that perhaps Automated Mining Services was Automated Mining Services and was producing the auto miners with Mick Flanagan's terminal. Let's see if we can find it. Turns out they started bringing in robots from that newfangled AMS company that built Watoga. So again, I think it's entirely possible that Automated Mining Services was the original name, and the atomic part was something that they added later. I think that, I mean, and part of that, I think as well, can be linked to what the Scorched Beast originally was, which we can see over at, where is it? Seneca Rocks. It's up here. Here it is. Basically, if you're unaware, the Scorched Beast was not always a bat. Which, by the way, how utterly bizarre is it that Fallout 76 launches in, I think it was November 2018, and then a year and a half later, we've got a disease that is spread across the world based on a bat-borne illness that likely spread from a lab in Wuhan, China. But again, it was the original source of this disease is bats. And a year and a half after the release of Fallout 76, we have a game, or sorry, a year and a half after 76, yeah, we have the real-world indication of a system where there's a bat-borne disease that's spreading across the world. But in 76, we have a bat-borne disease that destroys the entire world. And by entire world, I of course mean Appalachia at the time. It wipes the slate completely clean. Yeah, it was bizarre. Now, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, bat-borne illness is a known illness. It's one of those things where it's like, because bats are mammals, and because they live in places like caves, places with interesting disease vectors and stuff like that, there's always a chance that you're going to get some kind of crazy infection from bats that spreads to humans, that the disease spreads to humans pretty easily. So it's not like 100% out of the realm of something that could have just, that, you know, and I do think it's entirely a coincidence, but it's such a crazy coincidence. This right here was the original Scorched Beast. This giant vulture-like creature here, hanging off the side of Seneca Rocks. I think that basically what happened with this was they were pretty happy with this model that they created, and they didn't want to just get rid of it. So what they did was they pinned it up on the side of the mountain right here. But yeah, that's, again, so I don't think that Atomic Mining Services was Atomic Mining Services in the first place. I think it was Automated Mining Services producing their robots. And I think that these Scorched Beasts, the bats, not the bats, the vulture things, were probably not even from a cave. So the whole storyline with Ultrasight, all that stuff, probably stuff that came in to the production later. That would at least be my guess as to what happened with all that stuff. Now, I don't know that. I'd love to talk to one of their higher-ups about that and see if, like one of the people that was there at the time, and see if that was in any way part of what was going on there, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, we got a couple minutes left here. I'm going to see if anybody else has signed up. You've got 2 minutes left. Just sign up if you're interested in entering the G Fuel giveaway. Let's see. G Fuel giveaway. Oh, yeah. We got 2 more. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and add your names to the list. And when we do the random number generator, it will be from 1 to 7 instead of from 1 to 5. So everybody has a slightly under 50% chance to win. Again, I got 3 tubs to give away. Random number will pick who gets the tub on that hour. Basically, tomorrow I will send in your information to G Fuel, and then they will contact you to give you your free tub of Nuka-Cola flavor. Which again, I was actually just drinking it. It's pretty good. If you want to join the giveaway, you got to go quick. It's on the Discord. It's within the G Fuel giveaway channel.
Who goes there?
Yeah, no, the tub's nice. And the little scoop in there is perfect. It's got a nice little funnel that makes it perfect for, there we go, for filling bottles. And basically a 500 milliliter bottle, a half-liter bottle, is the perfect size. All right, so I'm going to give you here until 5:01, and at that point I'm going to cut off the potential for anybody else to win. Just because I know that Green Panda there was suggesting that they were going to get in on it. And that was literally with like 30 seconds left to the end of 4:59. So I will give you another few seconds here to get in for the giveaway. Again, all you got to do. And again, you have to be a U.S. resident, so if you are not, then I apologize, but that is one of G Fuel's rules. So pretty close to the death spot of the Rivers family. think it's down here. Yep. Olivia and Shannon Rivers. Interesting that it doesn't actually give their names. Maybe this character hasn't completed that that storyline, but all right. My wife is texting me asking if she can win, and no, you cannot. Oh. All right. So I'm going to call that it. I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. I've got the full list here just to show you all on the up and up here exactly what's going on. So let me add in these names real quick of people that applied just now. So I got King Chrysalis. Got nope, that's Kin. There we go. Kira / ADHD Queen. And I am a banana smoothie. Alright. So then, I've also got Google's random number generator. So we're going to do this, I think that 8 now. I guess there was one more than I thought. Anyway, up to 8. Alright. I'll do this 3 times, just so we see what's going on here. Okay. Now then. 6. So, King Chrysalis, congratulations. You just won this. King Chrysalis just won the first tub. And we got 2 more to give away for the next 2 hours. Alright. Let's see, where is that? There's that. Alright. Well, there you go. Alright, so let's see. What do y'all think we want to do here? Do you all want to keep on doing 76? We can look for other events to do, or we can go on and we can do 3 or New Vegas or 4. Or heck, we can even try to play some Fallout adjacent games. Something like Chernobylite, which again came up on a stream a little while back as a game that I own and completely forgot that I own, but it is within a like a nuclear wasteland sort of a thing, and we could play that. In the meantime, just while we're figuring that out, I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, I'll head over to Eastern Regional Penitentiary. No, yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, I really appreciate the fact that, so like the very first thing I did as soon as I actually got my code, which if you're unaware, my G Fuel code, if you want to support the channel, if you want to get something that tastes good, and again, it's an energy drink in a can, little tub, I approve of it. I ended up buying a couple tubs of it just because I wanted to be sure that it was something that I actually like before. Yeah, Chernobylite. Yeah, Russian Kool-Aid flavor. I wanted to be sure it was something that I actually liked before going ahead and advertising it. And so the one I got was actually this one, and this is actually still currently my favorite flavor, just Hula Colada, which is pina colada, obviously. But I actually do really like the Nuka-Cola flavor as well, and I also like this one, Cadinza, I guess is what it is. It's Persona 3, somehow related to Persona 3. This one is citrus strawberry. The Nuka-Cola flavor one is tropical citrus berry. And then the Hula Colada is pineapple coconut. My wife actually has one that's sour blue raspberry. She drinks that one probably, I'd say on average once a day. She also has taken it to work with her. She works as a... Again, this is something I would love a setting on. Maybe there even is a setting. I don't know. I would love it if they would stop... Okay, well, at least that was a short one. The ones by the power plants are ridiculously long. I would love it if you could turn those audible announcements off, just because so much of the time they're so much louder than everything else that plays in the game. But anyway. So yeah, I ended up buying 2 of those tubs beforehand using my own code. So got myself 10% of that sale. But at the end of the day, they also ended up giving me a free tub and then a free tub of the Nuka-Cola one. So I appreciate G Fuel. So yeah, let's see here. Okay. So I will definitely have to figure out exactly how this whole thing works in getting you all this stuff, because one of the things was like, give us their Twitch usernames. I'm like, I don't know what their Twitch username is. I'm not even streaming on Twitch. Which, like, I'll figure it out, because I've talked with their customer service people, or I don't know what it is, outreach people for affiliates or whatever before. And they seem to be pretty flexible people, so I'll work with them and figure out exactly how it works. But basically, the thing they say I give them is your Twitch username and your email, which, who knows, maybe you actually have a Twitch username as well. But either way, with those two things, they should be able to get you your free tubs. Both him and the mayor of Grafton are the reason you refuse to go near both locations. Mayor of Grafton and the warden here were some of the only original talking AI or NPCs in the game. I mean, and by NPCs, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, they're characters, but at the end of the day, they're literally just consoles attached to the wall. I mean, not that doesn't make them characters, but at the same time, it's definitely... I mean, I remember, I don't know if y'all remember this, because it's been 7 years now since they really did, when they did the big announcement. Which, by the way, does anybody else miss E3 and stuff like that? I miss those big gaming shows when the companies would come out and they would give their big presentations on what they had coming. I miss that kind of stuff, and it really, I feel like the whole culture around this stuff, the hell? Suspicious gold bars, huh? Questionable gold bar, dubious gold bar, and suspicious gold bar. But I feel like that whole part of the gaming culture has just kind of died. Oh, I remember this. Yeah, it's a random encounter. Private Miller. Issued by Transport and Storage to Private Miller Third Company. Manifest 3 test ingots for packaging and transport design, not for distribution. Notes, Private Miller, I need these ingots back as soon as I can get them. When you're done verifying the integrity of your packing concept, return them right away and don't let them get mixed up with the real gold or the general have us both flayed. But yeah, I miss that stuff. And like just the feeling that came around it. And I don't know. I mean, obviously it was not the same show throughout the entirety of its run. And it's definitely something that was killed by COVID. Oh, look at that. Filled with lead. What's the other ones? Questionable. More filled with lead. What was the last one? Suspicious. Yeah, they're all lead filled. That's neat. I mean, honestly, in Fallout, I'd prefer to get those gold bars because I need the lead for ammunition. The gold isn't nearly as useful. But yeah, I miss those events. And I miss when they got... But getting back to what I was talking about, I remember when they went up on stage to talk about 76, and they were like, yeah, no NPCs. Everything's going to be run by the players. Which, like, the funny thing was, like, at the time, everyone is expecting 76 to be just this PvP fest, where everyone was just slaughtering each other 24/7. And, I mean, obviously, the game really took off significantly once they did bring in NPCs and stuff like that. But I don't know how many of y'all, and we've talked about, I would love it if they would bring a version of the game back, so you could play it in, like, a Fallout world, where it's, like, the original version. But the original version of the world felt more to me like a post-apocalyptic game than any other game I've ever played. It's in a first person. Just because, like, you're walking around and there's nothing. There's nobody. There are just enemies that want to kill you. You go from place to place. You're just, like, picking up shadows and echoes of the people that have come before you and have died. Swing by Malmart. Yeah, I've seen your Malmarts before. They're good. Like, I would love it if they would provide a Fallout world that is within the, just the original build of the game. Like, maybe if they could do some bug fixes, that would be nice. But it was a crazy, crazy feeling walking around the world at that point in time. And just, because, like, seriously, it's one thing when you're learning the story of the responders when they're all dead. And you're some of the only people that are alive in the entire world being Appalachia at the time. It's entirely different now when there's like the reborn responders within the White Spring. It's a very different feeling. So, Grafton, though. I don't know why we came up to Grafton. I think because you were saying that you avoid Grafton, Solex, because of the mayor. Yeah, ended up coming up here. I don't think I intentionally did that. I just ended up kind of wandering this direction. I've done 2 videos on Grafton, actually. The original and a remake.
Attention! This is Grafton's mayor with a priority message. Workers are planning an illegal protest here in Grafton. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby deputize any and all armed citizens to quell this impending riot. Grafton Steel is a major contributor to my campaign, and therefore could not possibly be guilty of everything they're saying.
We've got a remnant here of an event that never came. At least I think that's what this is right here. When we were potentially voting for the president, and you could run for the presidency, and that would have granted you access to the president's office within the White Spring. It's really too bad that this never actually turned into anything. I mean, because as far as I know, the only way to get into that little office is to clip through the wall with a... Grafton Mayor's half Phil Hartman and half P.D. Barnum, yeah. The only way to get into that office is by clipping through the wall. But I do like that we can actually see some of these real-world buildings from Grafton. That's a real-world building right there. This one right here, this is the Mother's Day Shrine. National Mother's Day Shrine right there. Felt like a lost cause. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, 'cause you're expecting to go out into the outside world and, like, help to bring people forward and, like, civilize the poor savages that have been living outside. And you come outside and it's death in every direction. And not only that, but, like, before you get the Scorched Plague vaccination, like, in terms of, like, the lore, there's a pretty damn good chance you're gonna die of a disease that will turn you on your fellow Vault Dwellers to kill them, like, on the behalf of a giant bat. Like, the world was a much darker place when the game originally launched. Not to say that they haven't added some dark elements here and there. Specifically the stuff with, like, the Mothman cultists and all that. Is that a, one of those supply pods? Yeah, yeah.
What's that noise?
Exactly. Let's see, is this... No, is that just a... Man, that is a... Not sure if that's supposed to do that. No, that is not what I thought it might be. I was assuming that this might be a... like one of those smoke trails coming off of a supply package. Which, by the way, that is still something that I think we have not seen the end of yet. Let's go down here and see if we can maybe see one of them. I feel like I've seen them on the road up to this relay tower before, so let's go to the Flatwoods Lookout. But those government aid packages, they seem to be coming from a bunker that we've never seen, or some sort of depot that we don't have access to, or anything like that. But the fact that those automated packages are still coming... what is it, 28 years after the war now? Seems to indicate that there's still somewhere that we could potentially find something. Had to delete the game because the file was so damn big. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. That is absolutely true. The Fallout 76 stuff, it is... the file for this is absolutely massive. That is definitely something that I would love it if more devs would work on, is trying to actually bring down file size a little bit. Let's see down here. Supply packages have to be running out by now. Yeah. Yep. No, and you can always go to the Morgantown Airport and trigger one. And it's one of those things, though, where it's like, where are these coming from? Why are they still coming? How is it that, like, nothing... This has not been stopped by this point? Got a settler out there. I feel like there was even potentially the case that the Brother to Steel was trying to figure out what was going on with that. If I'm remembering correctly, we'll check on it real quick here. Yeah, well, no, again, it's one of those things where it's, if you've got a supply depot out there with, like, apparently enough supplies to just keep dropping supply drop after supply drop after supply drop for over 2 decades. You got to assume that depot out there has still got some supplies in it, so you'd think that someone would be looking to try to get to it. But yeah, let's hit up here. The Camp Venture. The home of Taggarty's Thunder in the aftermath of the bombs, and eventually the Brother to Steel. Took him a few years to get that Brother to Steel thing going. Oh, I was hearing music and I was like, hopefully that's not licensed. And no, it's the spooky, scary, scorched. Spooky treat bag, mysterious candy. Or mystery candy, I guess. Let's see here. Okay. Ooh, okay. Scorched leader. That's pretty funny. Welcome to the stream, by the way, Psycho Kitty. But yeah, make the game so big that it's the only one that can fit. Honestly, I do think that there is something to that. Like, especially because you see that it's the same thing with Call of Duty, where like these games are so freaking big, and it's not like everyone has unlimited space. Like, no one obviously has unlimited space, but at the same time, there are some people out there that have only 500 gigabytes, and so it's like you can fit a couple games then at that point in time. So it's like, that's ridiculous. Where's the console here? That is an interesting looking thing there. Let's see. Where is the console? There it is. Cargo bot supply drop. Unable to establish connections. Upcoming deliveries. No, yeah, I think this is something else. I think this was specifically potentially about deliveries via vertibird. Dangerous tech. Oh yeah, okay. No, this is about the supplies being stored within the vest hut. No, so yeah, that I was thinking about something else there. But yeah, they definitely, if you're unaware, the Brother to Steel was using vertibirds. I don't know exactly what happened there. I think potentially what happened was they were taken down by the Scorched Beasts. It's one of those things where I wouldn't be surprised if a vertibird could take on a Scorched Beast, but when you got effectively infinite Scorched Beasts coming at you and you've got maybe 3 vertibirds, you're not going to be able to stand up to that for very long. One of the vertibirds, if I remember correctly, is up here near Foundation Outpost. So we'll go check that out real quick. Alright. I think it's up on an overlook. Level 4 was oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, here's one of the original Brother to Steel vertibirds here. Daddy Dante, good to see ya. Yeah, no, I'm going to be live until 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is 1 hour and 41 minutes from now. Happy Fallout Day to you. Yeah, this is, by the way, this is the weekly stream, so I will not be here tomorrow at 5 Central. I was not intending to join the eviction. I guess by shooting the super mutants down there.
This recording is a call for help. Our settler camp was attacked by mutants last night. Please help. My name is Kenneth Dean. We're south of Huntersville.
We're going to check out more crashed vertibird locations. I think I might have gone a little east of where I should have been, but oh well. There's one right there.
I think I'm the last one alive. Probably won't be much longer. The mutants have left. For now, hurry and destroy their meat bags when you get here. That should drive them away if they come back. There's a machine in the crater.
Oh my gosh.
Should take care of the radiation in the area. here if it
There it
breaks.
is. Okay, I gotta see if I can turn those off, because that gets so annoying over time. It's probably not in audio, it's probably in, like, game. Oh. Wait, what? Event quests active when started? Shouldn't that be the case? Oh, wait. I guess it assumes you're starting them when you walk in on them. I'll turn it to off and see if that does what we're looking for here. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway. Okay. Yep. Here's another
so much to
Brother to
teach
Steel
us.
vertibird.
Why didn't
Again
I
with
see
the
it
new
before?
Brotherhood people coming in to check it out.
Whatever
Salvage it
takes.
if they can. And again, we just saw the other one that's currently at, what's it called? Forward Station Tango? Yes. So yeah, at least the three of them. And then along with that, I've definitely found it interesting that there were several
anything
members
tries
of the
to attack,
Brotherhood that
Be
were
ready.
just going around wearing normal
I wonder what the
army
Brotherhood's
fatigues.
leader is like.
I mean, that you
Must
saw
be a
one
real
right there.
hard-ass to keep all these rough and
But
tumble
along with that,
soldiers in
and
line.
so it's one of those things too where like I kind of question, and maybe this is, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit here, but I'm kind of questioning whether or not they just kind of were like, I don't want to create another skeleton that has fatigues on, and I don't want to have to make special fatigues for the Brother to Steel. We're just gonna have it be the case that a bunch of the Brother to Steel guys. Okay, yeah, so that did not do it.
Automated message to follow. Attention all brothers. A forward-placed automated surface-to-air missile battery has powered up. Please be advised that in-field repairs may be required to get the ASAM fully operational. Good hunting. End of message.
Defeated. Yes, if I was playing this game and pretending to be competitive, and that I had just really taken that guy down just like that, yes, that would be cheating, but this is just what I used to film. Let's go ahead and go to the other fire base, which is where I was intending to go ahead and look at another individual in a set of army fatigues, generic army fatigues. Again, I don't know if... okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that what they meant to have happen was basically just to have it be the case that the original Brother to Steel out here, Taggarty's Thunder turned Brotherhood. Basically, they had a bunch of old military fatigues, and so their lowest level people just wore the military fatigues wherever they went. Because like the other version of it is basically just that. The devs were kind of strapped for time, and so rather than spend time making a set of fatigues specific to the Brother to Steel and putting that on the skeletons, that they decided to just go ahead and use the existing ones. I gotta tell you, like, playing the game originally, when I didn't have my Fallout World and stuff, obviously, where I'm effectively able to just gun these things down with like 40 bullets. But Scorch Beasts were absolutely terrifying. Especially, like, playing during the beta. I don't know if y'all remember how terrifying they were at the time. And maybe it was even just me. But, like, I remember seeing one of those things flying around the highway over near the pumpkin house, and I just went directly the opposite direction. Like, I was... Let's take a look. I was right up here, coming down this road here where it kind of drops into this valley. And I saw one flying over the road and I was like, nope. Just turned around and went right back south. Yeah. Well, and at the same time, it's one of those things where I was absolutely exploring the map at a level I should not have been. I was going through stuff at... basically, I was just trying to... I've talked about this a little bit before, but we started on 76, obviously. I saw at the Atlas Observatory, and I decided that was the first place I had to get to, so I ran all the way out to here, restarting the Managa power plant. From there, I ended up going down to the monorail elevator, But like in the process, I was also just kind of like exploring up here to see what this was all about, and that's when I got up to this and was like, no, no, no. Oh yeah, no. When the thing is, like, I don't even know, level 5 or something like that. I know that I wasn't the right level to actually start putting armor onto my power armor chassis. I had a handful of power armor chassis, but I couldn't actually use any armor on them because I wasn't a high enough level. Just used it for the extra carry capacity that came with it. There they are. This is who I was coming over here to see. Yeah. So again, I'm just going to go... I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that basically what happened was... the original version of the Brotherhood, these guys were wearing the uniforms that they had available to them. And so, like, later, they absolutely did start making their proper scribe outfits and that kind of stuff, as you start to see down here within Fort Defiance. But even then, I think you still find some guys that were still wearing just the normal army fatigues, if I'm remembering correctly. We'll see. Allegheny Asylum before the war. Let's see here. One second. Okay. This is definitely one of the coolest locations that that they put in the game. In terms of just like the background of this location, it's based on a real world location too. Trying to remember what it's called. It's not. Oh, it's the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, I believe is the real world name of this site. But yeah, you've got the Brotherhood corpses out here wearing their power armor, fighting their last stand. My dog's dreaming, running in his sleep. Oh no, yeah, it's definitely the case that high-level players have basically always been helpful to newbies. All right, so yeah, final stand here at Fort Defiance with Scribe Grant, leaving that note behind there. Yeah, hunt them like rad stags. Yeah. No, yeah, the Scorch Beasts are definitely no longer as terrifying as they once were. I mean, at the very least, you do find ammo bags in here. But that, of course, doesn't mean anything. It's just the case that the ammo bags are the same color as the old olive drab uniforms. Do enjoy Fort Defiance. It's kind of funny. Every now and then, people will comment on some of my older videos. Somebody was commenting on my video for the Post Wastelanders main quest. I think that's the one it was. Anyway, they just laughed at a time code. And so I went into the time code, and it's like I was walking up through part of Fort Defiance, and this ghoul just like... Basically, imagine I'm standing right here, the ghoul sprints out of a doorway, jumps down through the hole, and just sprints off into the distance. And it's just like, what exactly is going on there? Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the thing about the Fallout 76 community, is that it is definitely one of the most friendly communities out there. Ooh. It's definitely been a while since I've played in a public server, mainly just because whenever I'm in the game, I'm generally trying to collect lore materials, which is definitely a lot easier when you don't have someone going by in the background. Especially when that person happens to be like dressed up in a clown outfit or something like that. Which, it's one of those things where it's like, there are legitimately reasons to be doing that, because there are like daily quests and stuff like that that require you, or what's it called, like little, what are they, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oop, not that. What is it called? Challenges, where it's like kill a Wendigo while wearing a clown outfit. I do have to wonder, with the Brotherhood of Steel coming in here, turning this site into their full headquarters, they didn't bother to like clean the corpses out. It's a little bit odd. Now at the same time, I do believe we assume that this is where they were keeping attack dogs. But they did have their giant garbage piles here and there throughout the place, like this. Been playing MMO since EverQuest. Never seen a friendlier community than 76. No, yeah. Well, and part of the thing too is I don't know. I never enjoyed the PvP in 76. I saw some people doing it early on, but it's definitely, I don't know. And part of the problem too, I think, especially early on, was if you were attempting to do PvP, the game had some stability issues. And so there's a pretty good chance that whatever person you're shooting at, they're no longer in that location where they're currently showing up. No Way Out. Yeah, a lot of interesting Brother to Steel stuff in here. I do also remember when I was exploring this place in one of my walkthrough videos of the main story, and a Wendigo uses the elevator to get up here. It's just like, how? How'd you do that? It's absolutely terrifying. And the thing is, like, it was stalking this wing of the old hospital. I think it might even be there now. And you could like hear it moving behind the walls and stuff like that. Such a creepy thing to have going on in the background. Oh man. Here's something we can talk about. What would you all like to see in the next Fallout game? Shout out your locations. Personally, I would love to see one set in Austin. It's my city of my birth, city I grew up in, Austin, Texas. Home to a lot of things that would work very well for a Fallout game in terms of there being like the university with the laboratories, the Capitol building, all the Texas State National Guard stuff. We got caves. We got parks. We got an old Air Force base. Fallout, Nebraska. Oh, jeez. Almost shot Jonah Ito here. I saw what looked like a ghoul getting up out of a chair or something. But yeah, again, I think Austin would be pretty good. And you could do some, like, typical southern or southwestern creatures, specifically like giant armadillos or something like that. Here in Austin, we've got, well, I'm no longer in Austin specifically, but I'm outside of Austin to its south. But Austin has the Edwards Aquifer, which has these blind newts living inside of it. Can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. But regardless, they could have those, giant versions of that. Love to see return to various hamlets from South Africa. Well, the Brother to Steel as a minor faction like in New Vegas. Yeah. Now, I'd like to see some more new main factions. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like, especially... So, like, obviously... Okay, so, let's talk about... Generally speaking, Brother to Steel has been a fairly major force in a lot of the games now at this point, other than New Vegas. And yeah, even in 76... They managed to make him part of the force. And here's the thing. I don't have any problem with the logic behind there being Brother to Steel here in Appalachia. I actually am fully on board with that. But definitely it's definitely a strange thing that they have now crossed the country to come in here. I even put together a potential way for that to actually work. But at the same time, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, it feels like the devs feel like they have to have Brother of Steel be in a major position within every game. Which I don't think is necessarily the case. And it would be definitely interesting to see some more new main factions. 76 did that pretty well, I will say that. The Responders, the Free States, and the Raiders of Savage Divide. Obviously, the Raiders of Savage Divide being 5 separate factions. Of course, by the time we get to play the game, those factions are all dead. Now, the Responders are back to an extent, but they're still not really who they were before. The Free States, I am always hoping at some point that we're going to end up seeing, what's her name? Abigail Singh show up at some point. She's the only one that is not confirmed to be dead, but is likely dead. So we could have potentially see her pop up at some point. But yeah, the other factions are all pretty much dead. The Mistress is a Mystery, another minor faction, but they're also definitely all dead, thanks to Sophia Rivers. The Enclave, obviously, we've seen many times before. Just a different iteration of it here. Fallout Minnesota, Midwest never got their fair shake. Yep. Raiders of the Lost Ark. No. Speaking of Raiders of the Lost Ark, I've seen some interesting stuff about Ark Raiders. I'm definitely interested in checking that out. I've been enjoying the recent spate of co-op shooters, like Helldivers and all the co-op games, really, not even just the shooters, but like I've played Repo and Lethal Company and all that kind of stuff. It's been very entertaining to get into more co-op games as I've gotten older. Oh, another blood bug somewhere up ahead. Not sure exactly what I'm even looking for here. Asylum worker hat green. I remember when there was... I can't even remember which one it is. Red? There was one rare asylum uniform that like everybody was looking for a while. Because I think it had like a 1% chance to spawn or something like that. That kind of thing never really appealed to me. I don't know, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, had the same sort of thing happen. The red one? Okay, yeah. Like back when I was playing World of Warcraft, I think at one point I got like a blue dragonflight whelp or something like that, which was a very rare pet. But it's one of those things where it's like I sold it because it was worth a lot of gold. I didn't really care about whether or not I had it, so that's never really been a thing for me in games. Getting the very rare uniform, the very rare, what's it called? Cosmetic. Which I mean, that's effectively what those pets are. The little mini pets, not the ones you actually have as a hunter. Let's see. I feel like we could probably move on to a different Fallout game at this point. I feel like we've covered a lot of the stuff that's here at this point. Got Steven Scarberry there. Definitely think the Midwest could do some interesting stuff in the games. We really haven't seen that much from the Midwest. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Brother to Steel is set in Chicago or something like that. I've never played that one. One with the jacket old Longfellow wears, yeah. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Maybe with large creatures it actually goes the opposite direction, and so instead of it being like a giant moose, which moose are already giant, instead you get like a pocket-sized moose or something like that. It's like your new house cat is actually a moose. Yeah, I mean, I think that there was actually a reference to Fallout Brother to Steel with, what's it called? The iBot. I cannot remember its name off the top of my head. The iBot companion in Fallout New Vegas. Where it had like an indication that it had been to Chicago for maintenance from an Enclave cell there. And, don't worry, none of... yeah. Edie. It also had the Roosevelt Academy sticker on it from the Capital Wasteland. So, interesting stuff there. I do think it would be interesting if they did a expedition to the Capital Wasteland. That's, I think, the last thing I'll say while we're playing 76 is that we've gotten the expeditions that we've gotten, which have been interesting. The Pit in Atlantic City, they could easily actually take us to the Capital Wasteland because thanks to... In fact, we'll do this real quick before we go back to before we find another game. Travel the district. So one response is, what's the Chicago? But basically, the capital wasteland is actually habitable at this point, apparently. I don't think it should be, but I'll just say that the lore we can find here within the flooded city center indicates, yes, you can in fact do work within the capital wasteland, just 28 years after the bombs. Like my expectation would be that there are still areas of the city you cannot go. Specifically, the White House should absolutely be off limits. If you haven't been to the White House and Fallout 3, it is absolutely destroyed, and it's a nuclear crater. I know, it's habitable. I don't know how, but again, I'll show you the note that indicates that that is in fact the case. And it also gives us a minor update on some other habitable parts of the country, including Coos Bay, Oregon. Which, before I learned that Coos Bay is a real place, I thought it was just some sort of, like, slang name for another town. Got some lesser devils in here, probably. Yep. Everywhere is habitable, yeah. Oh, you've been to Coos Bay? I assume it's probably pretty nice on the coast of the Pacific Northwest. Stepped on a trap. Yeah, the White House is basically nothing. So many traps that I can just keep setting off. Here we go! Just my luck. Just my luck, I'd be right back where I started. That's why I left Coos Bay in the first place. I was tired of making Kims in that soggy-ass flooded town, so I packed up my bags and headed as far east as I could get from that shadow. I'm going to stick with the way I said it. I actually thought I was doing good for the first time in my life. Then I heard about a well-paying job when I was in the D.C. ruins. He was working in the D.C. ruins when he heard about a well-paying job. Said it was in old Atlantic City. Sounded something fancy. After all, I heard they'd recovered well after everything went to crap. Well, turns out they needed someone to make this devil's blood crap. I don't know why I censored stuff. Lucky me, I'm damn good at it. This kind of work, despite wanting to turn things around. Figure I'll do it for a while I save up some caps. Trouble is, though, I'm not in some swanky place, safe place I thought I could call home, but instead it's another god-awful flooded coastal city. Now here I am fighting off mutated abominations in the same kind of crap hole I tried to leave behind. I don't think so. Because, first of all, not a ghoul. But, yeah. Just came across the country and started making this stuff. Unrelated, but look up Exploding Whale Lincoln City. Oh, I've seen that before. If that's the same, if Lincoln City is what I'm thinking of, where they had a whale that beached, and they thought that the good idea would be to fill it with dynamite and cause it to like vaporize, I think was what they thought would happen, but instead they shot like giant chunks of blubber for miles. Yeah. All right. So yeah, again though, this right here indicates, again, Capital Wasteland, the DC ruins. Apparently something where people are working and living now. So we should absolutely be able to go and check that out. I would absolutely like to see that made into an expedition at some point. Moved here to Oregon, 20. Okay. Yeah, I gotta say, of the two states, I would far more likely want to live in Oregon than Illinois. Like, I'm sure the summers in Illinois are nice, but I've seen the winters there, and they just seem horrible. Now, obviously, that could just be areas that are getting lake effect snow and stuff like that, but I don't know. Actually, my grandmother and my grandparents, my grandfather died back in like '97. I lost my maternal grandmother just last year, but for a long time they actually lived in Mount Vernon, Illinois. So I've actually been to Illinois. Southern Illinois. No, I don't think I've ever actually been to Chicago. So No, yeah. I say that is... I think it is funny. It's definitely disgusting, and, like, they could have definitely done a better job, but... the idea that they thought that they could literally just, like, disintegrate the whale by blowing it up. Like, that's not how that works. Okay. Gets bitter cold and... yeah. Okay. Alright, let's go to a different Fallout. Alright, how about... New Vegas. Haven't played that since September 23rd, apparently. I wonder what I was working on September 23rd. It was probably to get footage for another video, because I think... yeah, because September was Fallout 4. Oh, the summers in Texas are awful. My my paternal grandparents have lived in Texas since the 40s. And why is the question I keep asking. That's why, right there. That's why I was here. And so I could get this shot of this Giddy Up Buttercup poster from Fallout New Vegas. Literally come into the game staring at it. That's exactly why I was playing Fallout New Vegas at the time. But yeah, my paternal grandparents moved here to Texas in the 40s, and I always ask, why would you stay here in the time before air conditioning? Like, what was the thought process there? Now I get it. My grandfather worked in the oil industry up until the 1970s, but like, why stay? It's so hot. The summers are just unbearable at times. Like, this summer was not as bad. I will say that. There were far fewer 100-degree plus days. And I will say Austin has kind of a heat island sort of a thing going on with it. So it gets significantly worse at times. But, oh man. There was a summer, I think it may have been even in the last summer, where it was like a 3-month stretch where it did not rain. And yet, because we're so close to the Gulf, it is always humid. So it's like 80% humidity, 105 degrees, no rain for 3 months. And it's just like, who wants to live in that, especially pre-air conditioning? I have definitely, like, seriously considered, since researching West Virginia for the purposes of making my videos on Fallout 76, I have seriously considered moving to West Virginia. Now, I would have to actually find a proper job there. Like, unless, obviously, this took off, that would be lovely. I would truly love to be able to just make lore videos. Because basically what my time is currently is go to a job 8 hours a day, then get off and work on lore videos and other projects and stuff like that. If I could take out that 8 hours a day and just have that can be converted into making lore videos and stuff like that, that would absolutely be the preferable thing. But, that's the thing, I would definitely have to find a job in some place like West Virginia, which I know I don't know exactly what the economy's like there, but I don't imagine it's amazing. But yeah, I would I would much prefer the climate of a place like West Virginia. Oh man. Sorry to kind of vent there, but like, just to give you an example, today was a cool day here. For the recent weeks, and it was 86 degrees. Now I know that's not terribly hot, but it is October 23rd, and it also has been about a month and a half, 2 months since we gotten any significant rainfall, and this is the rainy season. We haven't gotten almost any rain this year. It's been ridiculous. I do not know what's going on with that this year. Like, I think the last time we got some really significant rain, like, we've gotten little bits here and there, but the last time we got any significant rain was back in the summer when we had a tropical storm pass through Mexico. 44 degrees, I envy you. I truly envy you. Now, I know that there are those folks out there that have the the whole thing where they get snowed in every winter and stuff like that. I've only had one serious snowstorm in my entire time living here in Texas, and that was the summer of 21, or sorry, the winter of 21, which, like, I love it as well that I now can have. Back in 21, we had the grand freeze. Now, that was actually the freeze experienced by most of the country, but Sorry, 1 second here. I'm looking at this. Yes, Mal, I will definitely take you up on that. But I'll take care of that here as soon as the stream's over. So, let's see. Okay. Lowest lifetime. -90 with wind chill? Good God. But here's the thing. I've always found it to be significantly easier to get warm than it is to get cool. And, man, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where people always move away from the cold states when they get older, but I would love to move somewhere where we get actual cold weather in the winter. Like, I would love to have to live in a place where you actually regularly get snow in the winter. I can't tell you the last time we had... I don't know if we've ever had snow in December, but... Or maybe once? It's one of the things where it didn't stick. Governor called out school, but your district still wanted to try. Oh, Lord. So, here's the question we can consider. What are we going to see of New Vegas in the Fallout TV show? So far, we've seen the Lucky 38, which, like, obviously they're going to have to show that if they've got Robert House. We've also seen the Tops Casino and Gomorrah. I don't think we've seen the Ultralux, although we 100% know the Ultralux was a pre-war casino. We know that because of Fallout 76 and the content that came in with, what's it called? Vault 79, and specifically with, what's it called? Berkeley Springs, where we got the story of Shanghai Sally, who was not, in fact, a Chinese spy, but was, in fact, an American soldier who stole a bunch of gold and fled across the country. But we know that the Ultralux was a thing because of the shootout at the Ultralux that took place because Shanghai Sally fled there. And the snow caved in the roof. Jeez Louise. But yeah, so those are the casinos we know we'll see. We also did see some kings in the video, which of course means Freeside, because they got the School of Impersonation there. What else? They showed some sort of camp. It seemed to be some sort of NCR location, but we still don't have enough information on that. I'm really hoping that with this second season of the TV show, we get much more definitive information on what exactly is going on with the NCR. Because everything that we've seen so far, they are not in good shape if they're even around at all. Because like it's almost seemed like the last remnants of it were with Lee Moldaver at Griffith Observatory. Which, if that's the case, then the NCR is gone now. Now, I would hope that's not the case. I saw some people pointing out that there was a camp that was NCR. I personally didn't see that much stuff there that indicated that it was actually an NCR camp. Maybe some people with general, like, an old affiliation with the NCR, but we'll see. But yeah, that's all I've seen so far about the NCR stuff. Again, it seems like the Legion is going to be more of a force. But exactly, I feel like we're going to have to get a canonical outcome to Fallout New Vegas for any of this stuff to make sense. Which we definitely don't have yet. Yeah, we definitely need to know more about that. We need to know more about why Lee Moldaver was some sort of god to the people of, what was it, Vault 4? And along with that, we know that she was alive before the bombs. Now, within the closing credits of the last episode of the first season, they showed, what's it called? Cryo suites. I think it was at the Tops. So, it's entirely possible that she decided to freeze herself. Although, it's one of those things where it's like, are we really assuming that New Vegas had the power through all that time in order to maintain their cryo suites? And also that in the chaos of the aftermath, in the time period between when Robert House prevented the destruction of the Mojave and when he finally reawakened, like I think it was over 100 and something years. In that time period, like everyone was just kind of like, you know what? We're gonna leave those people in the cryo storage. We don't want to mess with them. Let's let them have the lovely sleep until they awake after the apocalypse kind of stuff is over. Like, I have trouble believing that that would exactly happen. I don't know. But again, it's all speculation at this point. We'll definitely see. Well, we'll hopefully see some more about what exactly was going on there. I do wonder if... I feel like they have to. I was just going to say, because Camp McCarran, when it was named Camp McCarran, we're talking about before the game was released back in 2010, was named for McCarran Field, or for, I think it was at that time, McCarran International Airport, something like that. It's now Harry Reid International Airport, in the aftermath of the death of longtime Nevada Senator Harry Reid. Talked about him a little bit in my video on Searchlight, because he was a native of Searchlight, Nevada, and is actually an author who wrote several books about the history of Searchlight, Nevada. But you love cryogenics. It's starting to feel like they're doing that too much. Yeah. I'm feeling that way about the crossing the country. Like, the Brother to Steel was kind of a stretch. To get these 4 people to cross the entire continent. I get at the same time, you know, they are soldiers. They're well trained. They've probably got, you know, good intuition as to, like, what routes to take. They probably had maps of potential routes to take beforehand, all that kind of stuff. But now, it's not just the soldiers that crossed. We now also have the ghoul having crossed. And I got a question, why? Now, like, I don't have an objection to him just, like, out of hand being in the game. But, especially because I really do like, basically, Walton Goggins and everything that he's in. I like the character of the ghoul and all that stuff, but it feels like a way to use the popularity of Walton Goggins and the ghoul to improve the popularity of Fallout 76. Which Fallout 76 is severely improved in terms of quality and in terms of popularity over the course of the past 6 years, 7 years at this point. But at the same time, like, I can definitely tell that they would still love to increase the number of people that would be coming in to check it out. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are going to come in and check out 76 specifically because of the use of Walton Goggins within the game, and when they watch the TV show and they learn, oh, Walton Goggins is also in the Fallout game, so they would go and then check it out. But I don't know. It feels like we're getting too many people crossing the country in the same way that you say there's probably too much going on in the world of cryogenics. Well, thank you, Penguin Tots. It'll definitely be interesting. I've seen some of the footage they've shown with Freeside and stuff like that. They've done a great job again. Like, that's one of those things where I definitely had my issues with the writing in the first season of the Fallout TV show, but production design is second to none. Like, they did amazing work on that. Need to separate the ghoul's skills from the fact that he's a ghoul. No, yeah, 100%. It's like, there are plenty of ghouls that you come across within the Fallout universe that are just as unskilled as any other average person. He was already a skilled cowboy, soldier, and actor by the time the world ended. So, in the aftermath, he basically just honed his killing skills that came both from his work as a cowboy and his work basically as a soldier, and he ended up becoming incredible as a bounty hunter. But yeah, I do hope that they don't confuse why he's incredible. That is amazing that the sign is like that far out that it still is not actually shown up as saying Freeside. I mean, there we go. Peyton has to get a Walton Goggins skin from. Oh yeah. Can't remember the name of that character. Transsexual prostitute, I think, is what he was playing as in Sons of Anarchy. I can't remember exactly. I've looked up his filmography before to see like all the different roles he played.
We've got stuff we're not even allowed.
Because seriously, one of my favorite characters in any piece of media ever is Uncle Baby Billy. The Righteous Gemstones. That right there, by the way, is an effect of reporting on the fact that the Van Graffs are corrupt. You immediately get attacked by them and their crier out here anytime you walk in here. So the whole thing where What's his name? Ranger. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Where the ranger and the border post is telling you, try not to stir up trouble with the Van Graffs. Let the legal process take care of this. It's like, it doesn't matter what you tell him you'll do there. The second you show up in Freeside, the Van Graffs make it their business to kill you. Now, unfortunately for them, because I'm over encumbered, I turned on God mode. And I'm carrying this machine gun that has basically, well, no, not basically, it has infinite ammunition because I've got God mode. So there's just no way. And if they would have just accepted the stuff, the Yankees do all they want, they're not going to win this fight, then they could have just stayed inside and lived. Like that. But instead, unfortunately, them instead. Now, I will say that the, as with stuff we've seen in the past with Fallout TV show, I'm always minorly concerned with, well, not minorly concerned. I have serious concerns as to, like, I hope they don't screw up the lore in any serious way. Is this another one? Jeez Louise.
Like that?
If you get the chance, I would look up, basically just look up any clip of Baby Billy Freeman or Uncle Baby Billy Righteous Gemstones. Amazing stuff. Like, some of the just best acting of, like, creating the, like, one of the worst people out there. He is such a scam artist. It's amazing. We got the Lucky 38. So, one of the things I'm concerned with is, like, I hope that they, it's like one of those minor little bits of lore, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't play the game, then you don't really know it. If you don't, like, understand the world of the games and stuff. Like the Vault 21 hotel. Like, Vault 21 was not a hotel until after the war. It did not become this until, basically they opened up the doors and House basically flooded half the vault with concrete. So my concern would just be that I hope they get that right, along with it, because it's one of those things where you could definitely look at that sign and think, oh yeah, I mean, in this world where everything's been destroyed, you get a sign that nice, that's clearly a sign that, they basically, that this is something pre-war that they've recovered. No, that's a sign that was made over here at Michelangelo's sign shop. So yeah, that's the thing. Hope that they don't screw that up. Okay. No, yeah. The Righteous Gemstones. Really enjoyed that show quite a bit. It's over now, unfortunately, but it's one of those things where I definitely, over time, have grown to welcome shows that end on a high note rather than trying to continue to run out the clock. Basically just seeing how long they can go with the premise. I think one of the best examples of how bad that can go I've seen, and this is something I've seen lately, is with The Simpsons, which, like, I love the early seasons of The Simpsons so much. And it's one of those things where it's like, absolutely you can get some good episodes here and there throughout the later seasons. But effectively, like, around season 14 or so, I really feel like it kind of lost the plot. And recently I saw that they had a clip where Homer's mom sneaks into the delivery room after Bart's been born. And it's like, you're completely destroying the moment in the early seasons where Homer finally meets his mom again after he thinks she's dead. Like, what's happening here? You guys are destroying one of these most powerful emotional moments from the early part of the show in order to get, like, what you think is a powerful emotional moment now. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, thank you for reminding me. It is time to hand out more G Fuel. Sorry, I forgot about that for a minute there. Good reminder there. Okay, now hopefully this won't crash the game when I exit out of it. Okay, good. So there we go. Free this week. I'll have to check out what's free on Epic. But okay. So I'll bring okay, random number generator again. All right, so again, we've got 7 more names that could potentially win here. If we get 6 again, then I will, of course, redo it. I'm going to do 3 times, and then the 4th time is going to be the person. So, okay, and now 2. Spooky Nikki, a.k.a. Nikki the Cat. You are now the 2nd winner. I don't think he's even here right now, but he is very active on the Resolute Cartography subreddit. What do I call my Discord? Yes. A Resolute Cartography Discord. So, Spooky Nikki, aka Nikki the Cat, because Spooky Nikki, because it's Halloween stuff going on right now. You are the 2nd winner. We still have 1 winner to go. And he was very helpful with getting the footage within the Gleaming Depths. So, all right. So 1 more tab to go, and 6 names. So there's a 1 in 6 chance that any of the rest of you will win one. I really like. So okay, real quick here, slight diversion from Fallout, to talk about one of the things that I think that they need to work on in Starfield is, so if we go over here, we get the NCR Embassy. So one of the best things in here, and I think I've got to wait, so let's wait until day. One of the best things about a lot of the Fallout games is that you can go in, and so long as you've basically got the right rep and stuff like that, you can go ahead and go in and talk to some very important people. And, like, it's one of those things where you probably shouldn't be able to talk to these people. But at the same time, you can. For example, Ambassador Dennis Crocker.
Hey. It's good to have a friend of the NCR here. What can I do for you?
So we can talk to him, and we can get an enormous amount of information out of him about what's actually happened here in the past, all this kind of stuff. I'd like to know more about the NCR.
I can provide a quick history lesson, if that's what you're looking for. In 2274, President Kimball sent the NCR Army into the Mojavean force with the objective of occupying and repairing Hoover Dam. Rangers and Army scouts had confirmed that the dam was basically unoccupied and could be restored to an operable condition. Upon arriving at the dam, however, they discovered that a large force of tribals and robots had occupied it. This was our introduction to the 3 families, the Securitrons and, of course, Mr. House. Using his Securitrons as intermediaries, Mr. House called for parley. He claimed his forces had occupied Hoover Dam in order to safeguard it for our arrival, and that he was ready to turn it over to us, so long as we could agree to terms. Those terms became the Treaty of New Vegas. The treaty recognized Mr. House's sovereignty over the Strip and granted us rights to establish military bases at the dam and McCarran Airport. The NCR is legally permitted to send 95% of the electricity produced by the dam to our home states. The remaining 5% goes to the Strip. The treaty actually makes it illegal for the NCR to prevent its citizens or troops on furlough from visiting the Strip. Once on the Strip, our citizens are subject to arrest or punishment by House's Securitrons, though that's a rare occurrence. Our troops enjoy a different status. It's illegal for the Securitrons to take action against them. Of course, it's also illegal for our troops to carry firearms on the Strip, so there isn't much trouble they can get into. Our military police does an adequate job of keeping the troops on furlough in line. I don't envy them that task. The embassy was established a few weeks after the treaty was signed. Basically, Mr. House handed us a dumpy little building he had no interest in renovating. I'm the 3rd ambassador to hold this post, and the first, I think, to accept its limitations. My predecessors had ambitions of engineering the annexation of the Mojave. They thought they'd convince Mr. House to join up. I've never even spoken to the man, or whatever he is. Maybe the situation will change once we've beaten the Legion once and for all.
So yeah, again, I'll just close this out for now, but I would actually, I would absolutely recommend you go talk to this guy. But this is definitely something that Starfield is missing,
count on that.
and it's like a dramatic thing. It's something that's very obvious when you actually start looking into the lore. When you go into, okay, game crashed. That's Fallout New Vegas for you. In fact, let's just go ahead and launch 4. How about that? For this last hour here. But like, you go into the MAST building, Military Administration Science and Technology, I think, something like that is the abbreviation. And you can find the Chief General of their armies, the head Admiral of their navies, the head of the Health and Human Services Division, their chief diplomat, the actual president of the United Colonies. But other than the Health and Human Services guy, none of them will talk to you. Like, they will talk to you in specific quests when you got specific NPCs with you and stuff like that. But it's crazy how little you can actually talk to these high-ranking NPCs about anything. Starfield relies on slates and data dumps versus speaking. Okay, so I'll say as well that...
What's that?
Oh, right, I was in here to film last time for Wilson Automatoys. Oh, and I was also using turning off detection so I could film them without them detecting me. But I think that not talking to NPCs was something that is kind of a hangover from Fallout 76, where it's like there were no NPCs to talk to originally. And I appreciate that they want to keep doing some of the environmental storytelling and do the notes and things like that. But when you have those officials there, it feels like you really should be able to talk to them. I think this... Okay, let me see. I'm not over encumbered or anything. Let's just... Oh, jeez Louise. Oh! I forgot I turned that robot to stop following me. So, I don't have anybody here to take up the slack. And I'm out of stim packs. Because I've got one character that's absolutely overloaded with stim packs and one character that has none. So let's go in here real quick. Also, the terminals in Starfield are weird when you consider that it's the same software you can find on the ECS Constant and you can find in the entire rest of the universe. Like, I get that they probably didn't want to create like an entire new tile set and UI and all that kind of stuff for the computers, but at the same time, it feels like they should have.
Let's go.
Certainly. It
I
would
don't
be
know.
my pleasure to assist you, sir.
My thing is, like, I love the universe that they created with Starfield. I just feel that there's some things that are holding it back, and there's some of it is just little things like that. What? Sorry, I just got... No, yeah, they had 25 years. Sorry, I had to buy some O-rings to work on my car, which, by the way, for those of you who haven't been around that long or haven't been come by that often, I've been working on my car for like the past 2.5 months. I did a full head gasket replacement on my car, had to basically bisect the engine to do that. They got around to the last 5 minutes of the repair, and it's like, oh, you need an O-ring. And it's like, can't find this O-ring anywhere, so I just had to order 11 O-rings from a site because they only sell them, you know, at a certain count. But anyway, I finally got the O-ring today, so hopefully I'll get the car working. The actual engine turned over. Yes, the Saga Kart's car. The engine turned over. So the engine works. The only problem is that I lost an O-ring for the thermostat temperature sensor. So now I've got that, and hopefully tomorrow I can fix my car. Of course, I still have to change the transmission fluid, and I need a new battery. But once those two things are out of the way, hopefully this wonderful saga that began with sludge in my coolant will be over. Oh man, I can't tell you how nice it'll be to have 2 working cars again. And I also cannot tell you how much I will never, ever buy a car made by GM again. It's like, my very first car was a Honda, my second car was a Honda, my third car was a Toyota, and currently I'm driving my wife's second car. The first car got wrecked when somebody ran into her. Her second car was it's what I'm currently driving, is a 2012 Chevy Sonic, and it is a nightmare of a car. Yes, this segment not brought to you by GM. Oh, man. And I don't know. I've got kind of a vendetta against these companies. The other day, I was cursing the auto bailout when I was working on my car, and it was such a pain in the ass because it was like, if these companies hadn't been bailed out, then I wouldn't have to work on this car that was engineered by a moron. I don't know. Like, I found myself... I've also sworn eternal vengeance on the inventor of the hose clamp. So, so the spring clamp for hoses. So, I don't know. But again, that's just in moments when my hands are bloodied and covered in grease, and I've got like a screw that is like about to start stripping threads out of the engine block. You know, it's that kind of a situation that I found myself in. So, but I will say, like this kind of auto repair that I've been doing, is something that wouldn't be completely impossible if it were not for YouTube, and actually, hopefully enough, AI. Like, working with ChatGPT has actually been quite helpful. I will say that I do think that it led me down a rabbit hole with the head gasket replacement. I don't think that was necessary in retrospect, because when I opened up the engine, no coolant within the actual, like on top of the actual pistons. Which, from what I've seen, when your head gasket blows, you do have coolant on top of your pistons. My pistons were just covered in soot. Like, they were just normal wear and tear. I think what happened was I had a defect that came into being within my oil cooler, and it ended up causing a mixture between the oil and the coolant there. Which, by the way, oh, I'm about to die. Let's turn myself invincible. Hey, Carly GB, good to see you. Hope you're having a good Fallout day. If I had just replaced the oil cooler, which would have been much, much faster, cheaper, everything all the way around, it would have been, would have been done with this fix weeks ago. But who knows? Maybe this will keep my car running for a bit longer, especially with cars being as freaking expensive as they are right now. Not the end of the world to have replaced the timing belt and all that stuff. Which I can now say that I've replaced a timing belt, which, one of the worst experiences of my life. Good to see ya, yeah. If y'all don't know Carly JB, she produces some content related to both Starfield and Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 2, I believe. Does some really good stuff there. Big day, big day. Disappointing day. If you missed the earliest part of the stream, we talked about the Fallout Day stuff coming from Bethesda was a bit disappointing. Everyone was just hoping for a bit more than we ended up getting. But at the end of the day, not the end of the world. Well, there will be more Fallout days going forward. Well, we always hope. I remember, I think it was, I feel like there's a time every year where everyone's like, who knew that Fallout was going to become a reality within our lifetime? Basically, every time that there's some sort of nuclear scare. As a fan of Starfield, though, you know the disappointment that we've been getting lately from Bethesda in terms of, like, a lack of updates on things. There we go. Hanging out for N7 Day? Oh, yeah. I love the Mass Effect universe as well. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I probably have. But when the first Mass Effect... I don't even know how long Mass Effect had been around before I got it. But I eventually picked it up for the Xbox. 360, I mean. And, like, I was enamored with it, basically, from the drop. To the point where I got one of those black and white composition notebooks. And I literally wrote up a captain's log. Every time I would come across a planet, I would literally record all the data I could find on it. It was freaking amazing. Yeah, no, I know it came out in 07. I don't know if I bought it on launch or if I bought it a year or two later. I'm going to turn that off before it gets us copyright issues, which I've not monetized this stream, but at the same time, I don't want to run into any issues regardless. Yeah. Yeah, well, if you like the TV show and you have Fallout 76, well, Walton Goggins is going to be in 76 come December. So No, yeah, absolutely. I think I've talked about this before. It's one of those things where, like, I am not really the biggest fan of Fallout gameplay, but I love Fallout lore. It's entirely the reason why I play the games is to learn the lore and to make videos on it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I've never been just like, oh man, can't get enough of this gunplay.
Yeah?
I will say that 4 and 76 definitely improved the gameplay in Fallout in terms of the combat. You can't deny that. It's one of those things where it's like people rag on Fallout 4 and 76 and all that stuff. And there's definitely been a degradation of roleplay elements over time. I will not deny that in the slightest. But if you try to tell me that previous Fallouts have had better combat, I'm just going to have to say you're lying. Or completely just way off the mark. It's definitely the case that, like, because they brought in the guys from id Software. That's one of the things that I think people might not know. Bethesda bought id Software, the makers of Doom. I don't remember when exactly, but it was definitely prior to Fallout 4. And one of the things they had those guys do was come in and consult on the actual gunplay within Fallout 4. And it's absolutely great. Yeah. So yeah, you've got the same reason for exploring the content that I do. Learning the stories of the people of the world. Definitely, like, it's, I think that's one of the things that Bethesda games have always done better than a lot of people. I mean, it's one of those things where, I will say this as well. I do enjoy a lot of Bethesda gameplay elements more than other games in similar genres. Like, for example, I know that this is probably some form of sacrilege, but I have a huge amount of trouble actually getting into The Witcher 3, which, like, I know it's supposed to be like one of the best games ever. Everybody loves it within like the fantasy genre and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, I much prefer playing games like Skyrim to playing Witcher 3, which, like, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know why that's the case, because I loved playing Witcher 1 and 2. 3 is just not my cup of tea, and I've tried 3 times now to get into it, and I just cannot, and I don't know why. Let's see, finding a room full of plungers and being like, what happened here? Yeah, absolutely. Starfield's your first Bethesda game, so you're not up to date on their history. Yeah, okay, well, I would say the earliest game that is player-friendly is probably Oblivion. But I will say that one of the best games I've ever played in terms of lore and world building and everything like that is Morrowind. But I would caution about Morrowind that it is definitely a game of its time in terms of the gameplay. Because, like, melee attack is, like, whether or not it hits is based on RNG. It's not a question of whether or not the physics of the sword interact with the enemy. It's whether or not, like, all the stats are adding up. And so you, early in the game, when you have, like, a sword skill that's incredibly low, and you're swinging your sword at the enemy, it's just none of them hitting ever. Like, 1 in every 12 will actually strike. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, this, I will absolutely say, I feel like I talked about this a few times ago, and I don't think we ever actually ended up showing up here to look at it. This is one of the issues I have with Bethesda. We've got this diner here that should absolutely, like, this woman clearly has been running this place for a while. She's got her son here she's trying to take care of. Why would you leave the skeleton in here? Why wouldn't you clean the place up? She's trying to run this place like a restaurant, but she leaves it like a ruin. It's just weird. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. Honestly, I love hearing stuff like that. I really love it. I love covering the Fallout lore because, like, oh, jeez, Rust Devils, or no, not Rust Devils. What are these things even called? I can't even remember. They're so similar to the Rust Devils, which are a version of the... Wait, no, they are Rust Devils. I was thinking of Rust... Angels? I don't know. The enemy from Fallout 76. Yeah, we all get busy. Yeah, we all get busy, but leaving a skeleton in a booth of the restaurant you're trying to run is absolutely crazy. I get it. She doesn't have the funds to replace the windows. And plus, you do that, and then the next day you got that drug dealer hanging out here, ready to shoot your brand new windows out. But the fact that, like, there's just garbage all over the place, and the fact that there's a skeleton sitting in a booth is just crazy. Yeah, they really are. I think that probably the best example of world building not meeting reality takes place in Nuka World. Does this character have access to Nuka World? Does not look like it, because I think it's out there. And I really don't want to have to go through the entire onboarding process just to show you something. I'm also hesitant to show you all the character names there because one of them is literally my full legal name, which I don't know why I did that. It's why I occasionally black the name out. And it's not that I don't trust anybody here. It's just that there are so many crazies out there that I'd prefer to keep my legal name off the internet as much as possible. So, but I'll just tell you about it just to get you tell you what it is that I'm talking about here. When you go to the Disciples hangout, I believe, within Nuka World, there is there's just like areas where they're sleeping next to corpses, and there's like corpses hanging up all over the place. What's the sorry, I don't understand your meaning there, but no, my character name is my full legal name, so like the character that I created to play the games. So occasionally when you see, okay, for example, in the Wilson Automators video, there's a version of me where I blacked out my name. And it's because I created a character with my actual name. But yeah, the Disciples. They hang out in this area that's just full of corpses. And there's like corpses draped all over the place and put on spikes and stuff. And it's like, the diseases you are courting by standing next to all these corpses and living next to these corpses and having them all next to you all the time. Like the amount of tetanus and all kinds of other stuff that's just going to be spreading throughout that group. It's going to make life absolutely miserable. There's a reason that we bury bodies. And it's not just out of respect. It's also out of the fact that a human body is a disease vector that can easily get you all kinds of infections that you do not want to get. There's a reason that when people do autopsies and stuff like that, they're wearing dust masks and stuff like that to make sure they're not inhaling particles of bone and stuff like that. Because not only would that be disgusting to inhale someone's bones, but because those bones can potentially carry diseases that you could yourself get. So, again, you don't want to live next to corpses. I don't care how cool you think it looks as a raider and how intimidating it makes you seem. You don't want to live next to corpses. Now, the super mutants have no problem with that. At the end of the day, they literally are immune to all disease because they have FEV flowing through their veins. That it actually does have that one lovely little element of the PvP that they were hoping to get, which is immunity from all communicable diseases, but at the same time, you know, obviously it makes them infertile and all that other stuff, so. But yeah, they should have no issues living next to corpses because it doesn't matter how many times they pick up the plague from a corpse, they're not going to carry it. Who do we have here? Lucas Miller. I feel like I've encountered this guy before.
Got armor at good rates if you're in the market.
What's for sale?
What kind of stuff do you have?
I sell armor for Old Man Stockton's outfit, based out of Bunker Hill. Been selling armor to smart wastelanders for years. The dumb ones walk away.
Jesus.
Don't stay dumb long.
Thank you, Mel. I'm gonna head out. Yes. G Fuel. I'm not going to say that G Fuel will keep you from all healthy from all infections. I'm pretty sure that is a violation of the law to claim that. But good stuff. And vitamin C does have some effect on improving your immune health. So, given that this stuff has, what was it again? Some crazy quantity of vitamin C. 278% of your daily recommended value of vitamin C. Is that with all of them? Let's see. Yep. 250 milligrams of ascorbic acid. So, there you go. Here we got the caravan that was destroyed by the folks over at Covenant. Oh, here's a fun little thing I can share with you all. There's 10 of y'all here. The odds that any one of you is a big fan of Warhammer 40,000 is quite low. Because even though it's a growing franchise, I think it still has a fairly small fan base. I've been going through the Priests of Mars series, which covers the Cult Mechanicus, the red-robed folks who do all the technology for the Imperium of Man. And I'm about to finish the third book in the series, Gods of Mars, which includes the fact that it appears that the Mechanicus is aware that they have a Cretan living under their planet. So, anyway. Little guys who look like... Oh, I don't know about that. I've never actually... It's one of those things where I was never introduced to a lot of cartoons from the 80s. Like, I, for example, never introduced to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I was born in 1990, so it's not that crazy that I wasn't introduced to that much 80s content. I have a brother that's 7 years older than me, and he was, I believe, into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But... yeah, it was not something I was introduced to. It's kind of funny, like, when I was growing up, like, we would rent movies occasionally from Hollywood Video. It was the local kind of generic video store. Happy Fallout Day to you, Trey Olds. I've never understood that war never changes. War absolutely changes all the time. The reasons for war are pretty universal. But, yeah, war absolutely does change. But, yeah, happy Fallout Day to everybody. And welcome to the stream, anybody who haven't called that yet. Where was I? Yeah, we would rent movies from Hollywood Video, and then when that went out of business, from Blockbuster Video back in the day. But, like, I've been realizing, as I've gotten older, like, just how much stuff I missed out watching when I was younger. And, like, for example, the first time I saw Star Wars, when it didn't have a thunderstorm watch running across the bottom of the screen because my parents taped it off of the local news, off the local TV station, was when I was like 18. Because before that, every time I would watch Star Wars, it was the old version that my parents had taped, like 15 years prior or something like that. So it's like there's a lot of content. Like, okay, for example, yesterday was the first time. Was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday was the first time I'd ever watched Escape from New York. Which, like, there are so many references from that I've seen in other things. Yeah. Where's the thunderstorm that's supposed to be going on while Luke is facing the Emperor? But yeah. So I've definitely learned that, like, there's a lot of content that I just did not have access to as a kid. Snake Plissken, for example. But yeah, for example, Snake from the Metal Gear series. That's another thing. Metal Gear was never really introduced to that series growing up. It's something that I've tried to get into now and then, but it's something I just, like, I feel like I need to actually try, like, the remake they did recently or something like that. Final Fantasy. I tried, not something I was introduced to as a kid. Tried to get into the first one, but, like, I literally couldn't find a way to revive my character. So one of my characters went down and I didn't know how to revive him, and I could not find a way to do it. Oh, man. So yeah, a lot of content I was not introduced to as a kid. Like, the things I was introduced to as a kid. James Bond. Absolutely. And definitely too young. Like, one of those things where I should not have been watching it when I was, like, 7. But it's one of the things my dad introduced me to, along with Monty Python and stuff like that. So there were things that I was introduced to. But there was a lot of popular culture that I did not get into until I was significantly older. Fallout, for example. It's like, I was only 7 when the first Fallout came out. My brother would have been 14 at the time, but he was never really into CRPGs, to my knowledge. So he never really had it, and so I was never introduced to that. But I have been playing Warcraft games since the age of 4, so there's that. I, in fact, used to have a tradition around the Thanksgiving time period that I would always cross through the Dark Portal on the Thanksgiving break. Now, that started off with Warcraft 2 and continued with World of Warcraft when the time came, when the Burning Crusade expansion released. But yeah, my dad had Monty Python records, and introduced me to Monty Python and the Holy Grail and all that stuff. Oop. This is an interesting little community. If you haven't learned much about it, you can check out my video covering the what's it called? Family starts with a T. Let me see if I can find their bunker to refresh myself on their name. Oh yeah, you got the Monty Python records. It's in a backyard somewhere around here. It's been a while since I've, you know what, I can check my my Fallout 4 lore playlist here real quick and see. Where are the playlists? There they are. There's Fallout 4 lore. Turnquist family. There you go. The Turnquist family video covers this little settlement right here. What happened with all this. Did that at the same time I did the video on Vault 75. Definitely a very interesting story, dealing with basically people trying to deal with the immediate aftermath of the bombs in an area that was highly radioactive. The whole thing, you know, of like family members trying to find each other when things have just gone to hell. Interesting stuff. Let's see. But yeah, all that because I brought up Warhammer 40,000 and Mal brought up He-Man, and I've never seen He-Man before. Let's see, where do we want to go? Let's go to the Super Duper Mart. If you didn't hear, the Fallout 4... was it 15th anniversary? No, 10th anniversary edition will be coming with, I think it's 120 pieces of Creation Club content, which, again, like I said earlier, is amazing to me that there's actually that many pieces of Creation Club content. So, yeah, same with most families that day, absolutely. Well, it's one of those things, though, where... Okay, I'll say that extended families, and by extended families, I'm even including basically your core family that you used to share growing up with your parents and siblings. That obviously is going to be much more difficult to potentially get together if you don't live close to each other. But I mean, you do also have to consider that the bombs did drop in the early on Saturday morning. Like, I mean, not terribly early here on the East Coast. It was like 9 in the morning, I think, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But regardless, it's one of those things where it's like unless you were out working a job somewhere, which in this case the Turnquist family, the mother was working as a nurse at the hospital downtown at Mass Bay General, I think it was. Most people were probably actually home together. But yeah, again, one of those things I've actually personally considered myself. If there was ever a significant disaster, how would I get in contact with my mother, my sister, my brother, all their families? Somehow dropped on the afternoon in the West Coast, yeah. Welcome to the stream, Benjin, by the way. Hope you're having a good Fallout day. Yeah, I think the entire thing with the Fallout TV show was because they wanted to have that amazing scene that they ended up getting to have with the bomb dropping at that time of day. Because, like, obviously, if it's dropping at 9 o'clock on the East Coast, it's... I screwed this math up once before. 6 a.m. on the West Coast, something like that. Which, obviously, not going to have many kids' birthday parties going on that time of day. Unless it's a sleepover, which it was not. think that was entirely so they could get the scene. I sincerely hope, at the very least, that they're not trying to canonically change the time of the war to that. Just to have one scene in the TV show. That'd be crazy. No, it was definitely not lore-friendly, but it was definitely 100% cinematic. Excellent scene. Great way to start the show. I did love the way that it starts with a scene that has the title, The End. And it's a great way to introduce people to the world, you know? Yep, maybe. But at the same time, and no. That is Daylight Savings Time in October. Assuming they still had that in the Fallout universe. Which, thank God, Daylight Savings Time is finally coming to an end. November 2nd. I don't know. I kind of hate the whole system. Just seems entirely unnecessary in this day and age. Basically, it's a system that was originally created to kind of make the clock work more around the seasons, which is kind of, you know, it's an admirable concept. It's like, think these things up and try them out. But at the end of the day, it just creates confusion, and I think they found that it loses, like, the economy billions of dollars every year because of the amount of time where people are showing up at work at the wrong time, and like people oversleeping on certain days and stuff like that. Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely excited for the second season as well. I just, again, every time that they release a piece of content that potentially like is, you know, going over old lore, I'm just concerned about what they're going to end up doing. And like easily the biggest piece of lore bending, and again, I'm hoping it was just a production mistake, was the blackboard that said the fall of the NCR in 2277. Like, I sincerely hope that that was just a production error, not something that they were actually intending to make the lore. Because if the NCR fell in 2277, then what were you doing representing the, like, if you decided to side with the NCR in Fallout New Vegas, there is no NCR, effectively. Shady Sands has been nuked. Yes. Oh God, I would hate that so much. I cannot even tell you. If they decided, oh guys, this is just a different version of the Fallout universe. It's like the Halo TV show where it's like, this isn't the same timeline, guys. It's like, why? Oh my gosh. The madness of, like, I get that as an actor you want your face to be seen, but like literally, the character of the Master Chief does not take his helmet off, and not just because it's like part of his character to be kind of like mysterious as to who he actually is as a person and all that stuff, but because like it's creating the biggest weak spot. He's literally a walking tank. But the second he takes that helmet off, he's just a man walking around with the walking tank around the rest of his body. Like a single sniper shot takes him out and ends decades of training and I assume like billions of dollars worth of like operations and equipment and all the research that goes into it and all that kind of stuff. Just crazy to me that they turned Master Chief into Master Cheeks. Okay, that one I don't get in the slightest. The airships, they make no sense. Because if you know anything about the airship that's here, the Prydwen, the only way that the Prydwen was able to be built was using the equipment that they scavenged from the crawler at Adams Air Force Base. Yeah, okay. Well, but that wasn't one of the because there were multiple versions of the Spartan, right? And so Master Chief was like the best. What the hell? Okay, yeah, no, I'm dead. That's fine. But like, how was Ada walking on one leg like that? Anyway. Where was I? But yeah, there are multiple versions of Spartan, and John 117 was, if I'm remembering that being his call sign and all that, was the like highest quality version. Okay. Yeah. Robco General Atomics test. Yeah, with the phantom leg that apparently is capable of bearing the weight of that robot. Uh-oh. Jeez Louise. Gotta be ready to move. Definitely one of the most effective uses of a mini nuke in the game. Oh, shoot! I should probably try to get closer before shooting. Yeah. I do love that Fallout 4 feeds right into that whole birds aren't real conspiracy theory. Because all these birds are actually servants of the Institute out here with just as working as cameras, watching everybody going around. Which, by the way, that is... The people that legitimately believe that there's no such thing as a real bird are some of the craziest people in the world. It's like... I think that they're actually few and far between, the ones that actually believe that stuff, but...
That's the last of them. Get him, sir!
I've seen variants of that where it's the people that say horses aren't real, giraffes aren't real. I will say that of all the creatures in the world, giraffes do seem like one of the strangest. Now, obviously, their anatomy exists the way it does for a reason, so that they can reach leaves high up on the branches. It's basically filling a niche. Oh, jeez. Ha! Gotcha. Oh, still alive. Man, that feral ghoul was rough. Tough, I guess it did, but... Let's see. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Got that guy with the fat man. If you haven't seen the movie The Mothman Prophecies, there's some creepy scenes in that. I remember when I was a kid, I was trying to tell someone the concept of the Mothman Prophecies, but I couldn't remember like half the information about it. So I ended up telling them about the movie called the Owlman Chronicles, which, funnily enough, there is actually also an Owlman. I believe it's an English thing, but Mothman Prophecies to Owlman Chronicles. Definitely not right. We're about 10 minutes away from the final draw. So we need to see who wins the last tub of Nuka-Cola flavor G Fuel, which, again, haven't mentioned it in a little while. I am now a G Fuel affiliate, associate, I don't know what the for it is. Regardless, If you use my code iCartographer at checkout, you can both get something that tastes good and it provides you a bunch of energy, but also that supports the channel financially, and you can get it for a discount using that code as well. Again, the ones I'm giving out today, and I've personally got one right here, is the Nuka-Cola flavor, but I also have the Hula Colada, which is currently my favorite, and then along with that, the Cadenza one. So, exactly, final countdown. Here's hoping that by next Fallout Day, we've got something significant to talk about in the Fallout arena. Like, obviously, we had some stuff about 76. But, like, how amazing would it be if the next Fallout Day it's Shadow Drop of the Fallout 3 remake or something like that? Yeah. No, yeah. 100%. Where, I can't remember the name of his name, but the doctor who's talking to Richard Gere. And he's like, basically like, do you ever try to explain yourself to a cockroach? It's like... No, I don't. It's like, yeah, so a higher level entity looking down at you like you're a cockroach. Why would they bother trying to explain themselves to you? Oh, yeah, that'd be amazing. Well, and again, I got my map of the Metro. I did put the link to that in the descriptions going forward. I do have my link to all my Starfield mapping data, if you're interested. If you need to find a planet that has a specific resource, if you need to find a planet that has specific conditions. Most recent chart that I put together in that is of planets, not planets, sorry, habitable moons of gas giants. So we're talking about places where you can go, land on a moon, you've got a gas giant in the sky, you've got a sea of liquid water in front of you, you got breathable air around you. Makes for pretty good vistas. I think there's, I can't remember the exact number, something like 10 moons that are like that within the 1,000 landable objects within Starfield. So, if you want to check that out, again, I've got that linked in the description of the video. I would love, alright, well, have a good time, Carly GB. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Fallout taught me anything, it's when you had a... Yeah. Yeah. Of course, in the real world, mines don't generally give you the ability to run away. Maybe it wouldn't be very good mines if they did. Have a good night. Makers and tired. Alright. Probably should actually pay attention to this if I want to try to get through this. Bricks might be. Yeah, there we go. Am I? No. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was wearing power armor or not. I gotta question the realism of there being just all these power armor chassis all over the place. Like, how many people would, like, die for something like this, you know? Like, obviously, this is not providing you the greatest level of armor with the fact that it's missing both legs and the left arm. But at the same time, like, if you position yourself properly, get yourself lower cover and stuff... This is something that you could really use to your advantage, firing over a barricade or something like that. Kind of crazy that you can still find these things out there. But. Alright, let's see. Where do we want to go for these last 6 minutes? How about... the Oceanological Society. Yeah. Alright. Interesting lore in this place. Talks about conditions in the ocean. Let's see. Can't remember where the terminal is, though, off the top of my head. Oh. Gotta wonder how soft the shell is on that Mirelurk when it takes that many rounds to take it down, right? Alright, research logs. Lobster growth. This is insane. An increase in average mass by 14% in crabs and 12% in lobsters is not something to be celebrated. If this trend continues, the additional food necessary to sustain the shellfish population could lead to colony collapse. I've tried to bring our attention, tried again to bring our findings on the growth of mutations to the press, and those assholes at GNN just took our findings and spun them into a story about how great shellfish season is going to be. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there, but increased toxicity. This is the 14th month in a row that we've seen a continued increase in toxicity in barnacles and cod. This raises the average month-over-month increase to 34% to those in the control tanks. We've tried contacting Boston Port Authority, but they refuse to take or return our calls. And samples from Lake Quannapoet. Quannapoet? I think it's Quannapoet, actually. This is very strange. One of my colleagues sent us a sample from Lake Quannapoet, asking for independent verification to compare against his findings. The radiation and toxicity levels are 15 times higher than the sample we have from last year, and well over the safe levels for people to be swimming. I've sent our findings back to him to confirm, sent our report back to him to confirm his findings. So yeah. Interesting stuff going on in the oceans prior to the war. And obviously, I think Lake Quannapoet, we're going to go outside and take a look, see if we can fast travel there. What the hell? Talking about geoducks? Anyway. If I remember correctly, the geoduck is got a dog hair in there. Thank you. One of the fun things about owning a large, very hairy dog, their hair gets everywhere. One of the don't remember where I was. Oh, the geoduck. It's a kind of rude-looking crustacean. Yeah, Lake Quannapoet. This is the one that I believe was being polluted by the mass fusion containment shed and probably General Atomics Galleria. Alright, here we go. This is the one where they decided to have their little picnic on the lake here. And like people started like melting. That's not the exact terminology for what happened, but yeah. The water quality incident reports. I think July 4th is the one we're looking for here. Fishing tournament resulted in 27 reports of serious illness following contact with the water. One boat sank. Its two surviving crew members, which implies that there were some that did not, were treated for critical radiation burns. No fish caught. Lake Quannapoet closed to the public until further notice. I mean, that is insanity. This is a small lake. This is based on a real world lake, I believe, actually, Quannapoet. I've had to learn some interesting pronunciations, and I will say proudly, for the first time in my life, I can spell Massachusetts without getting it wrong. At least when I'm typing it. I doubt I could do it in a spelling bee. Yeah, no fish caught. I wonder why. But yeah, there are so many interesting names in this area. I also like interesting pronunciations. Quincy, for example, instead of Quincy. And I thought it was interesting that apparently it's strange that a lot of people don't pronounce this Natick. I don't really know why. I don't know how else you would pronounce that. But apparently somebody from the area commented on one of my videos. It's like, finally someone who pronounces Natick properly. And it's like, okay. I don't know. It seems like the most natural pronunciation to me. But all right. Let's do the final drawing here. Where is that? There it is. Okay. And we got the random number generator here again. I'm going to go 3 times, then the last one. And if it's one that's already picked, we'll go again. 1, 2, 3. Oop. And one last time. 6 already happened, right? Yeah. So I'm going to do that again. 1, 2, 3. 3. 3. And then once again. Once again. There we go. Okay. Okay, Barchi. Congratulations, Barchi. You are the 3rd winner. sorry to anybody who did not win. I will say that again. I know I'm selling it, but at the same time, honestly, I do actually like G Fuel. I've gotten to where I actually do quite enjoy drinking it. So, but I think I'm going to close things out here. I will do some quick announcements here before that. So here's the thing. Again, no stream tomorrow. The 3-hour stream today will be the stream for the week. But I'm going to be continuing to work. In fact, tomorrow I've actually taken the day off work. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of work on lore videos. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to be doing the Blue Ridge Caravan Company lore video this week. I'm leaving that until after the Burning Springs update because I think there's going to be significantly more Blue Ridge Caravan Company stuff to cover there. And so, again, for the people who did win, I will contact you through Discord in order to get the information that I can send to G Fuel so that they can take care of you to get you the tubs that you've won. But again, I'm going to be doing some... I'm going to record Milepost 0 to make sure I've got footage of that for when I do the video on Blue Ridge Caravan Company. But what I'm going to be doing for the next 8 days, including today, I'm going to be working on 2 to 3 Fallout 76 lore video remakes. And these are videos that are 5 to 6 years old, and again, the quality of them, I would say, is not very good. I was telling Mal earlier today, because he's the one who usually goes through my scripts to make sure I haven't done something crazy. I watched my Dire Chemical Massacre video for the first time since I released it back in 2019, and I told them these 3 things. The content is generally good, the structure is okay, the voiceover is abysmal. In fact, you know what? We can go grab that video real quick and we'll watch a video on YouTube. Let's let's do this. Just so you can see what I'm talking about here. There's that. Let's go to... Nope. Let's go. And I keep forgetting how much other stuff I need to be working on when I'm working on all this stuff. Let's see here. Let's find that Dire Chemical Massacre. Thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate you all coming out to watch this, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. But again, so let's just listen to the audio on this real quick.
Hello, I'm the iCartographer, and this is the story of the Dire Chemical Massacre.
You can absolutely tell that I'm speaking through my headset microphone rather than this Blue Yeti one that I got here. And along with that, like it, the way I say some of the words, if you missed it earlier, the auto subtitles caught me saying sentient, as in sentient ghouls, as Sinn Féin. That's how quickly I was speaking, was that apparently what I was saying was... it turned sentient into the Irish political party that's currently in power over there. So yeah, I'm going to be, it's weird to go back and watch this stuff that, again, when was this actually released? I think it was 2019, but is there actually a specific date shown on here somewhere? I don't know, but regardless, yeah, it's been out since 2019. I don't remember the exact date. But yeah, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to... There you go. November 22nd, 2019. So I'm going to be going back and I'm going to be trying to get this one, the video on Eastern Regional Penitentiary, and potentially the video covering Senator Sam Blackwell. I want to get all 3 of those done. If I can get those done in 7 to 8 days, that'd be absolutely amazing and a great way to end the month. People seem to be looking for more 76 content, and again, I think a lot of people haven't seen some of my oldest videos. This one actually has reasonable views for being as old as it is. I think it's 5,200, something like that, views on this one. 5,300. But yeah, I'm going to go back and... No, sorry, 5,265. So I'm going to try to replace this one with one that's a little bit better. So... Anyway, though, it's been great to hang out with y'all. Congratulations to those of you who won. I'm going to make sure and contact you right now so I can get that stuff over to G Fuel by tomorrow, because they say they want the winners by the 24th. And anyway, again, it's been good to hang out with y'all, and I will see you all next Friday. That'll be Halloween. So, yeah, we should probably... 5 to 6 is fine. It won't be dark yet. So, yeah. I'll go out and do my handing out of candy after that. So, yeah. Have a great weekend, everybody. And look forward to, hopefully, 3 remakes over the course of the next week. So, Bye, everybody. Okay, yeah, I'm glad you approve of that. So, yeah, again, bye, everybody. Have a good weekend, and see you all next time.